A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
Rochester, Dennis Day, and yours truly, Don Wilson. This is our second week in New York. So let's go out to the Acme Plaza Hotel where Jack is staying. Our little star is still in bed.
Boss, wake up. Mr. Benny, wake up.
Huh? Oh, it's you.
Yes, boss, it's time to get up. Come on, open your baby blue eyes and look at me.
There.
Now, here's your teeth. Smile at me.
I'm smiling. What time is it?
4 o'clock in the afternoon.
4 o'clock in the afternoon. Didn't the sun shine today?
I don't know. This room hasn't got a window.
What do you mean it hasn't got a window? Raise the shade. There, what's that?
A picture of Central Park by Grandma Moses.
Well, you could have fooled me. Yesterday, when I lifted the shade, I could have sworn it was snowing.
That was the plaster falling off the ceiling.
Oh, yeah, look at the way it drifted up against the baseboard.
What a hotel.
Rochester, you can stop laughing. This is a very nice...
Hey, Thunder, you want it on the phone.
Huh?
You want it on the phone.
Hand me my robe, Rochester.
Here you are.
Okay, I'm coming. Where's the phone?
Right down the hall. And while you're talking, don't go tampering with a coin box.
I won't. Yeah, I wonder who could be... Oh, here's the phone on the wall. Hello?
Hiya, Jackson. It's about time you answered.
Oh, hello, Phil. Do you have any trouble getting this hotel?
No, I just dialed B07236 and the Narwick answer.
Now, cut that out. What'd you call for, anyway?
Well, look, we'll soon be going back to California, and I wanted to know if it's all right with you if Alice and I stopped off at Niagara Falls for a few days. You know, that's the place to go for a honeymoon.
Well, Phil, you and Alice were married 8 years ago. Didn't you go on a honeymoon then?
Yeah, but this time we'd like to go without Remley.
Phil, you took Remley on your honeymoon?
Didn't know it till we got there. Somebody tied him to the back of the car.
Oh, well, that could happen to anybody.
Yeah. Hey, Jackson, I got to tell you about a funny coincidence. Yesterday, Alice and I were walking down the street talking about a second honeymoon, and we ran right into the man that married her.
Who was that?
Petrillo.
Petrillo? How could Petrillo officiate at your wedding?
Why not? My dues was paid up.
Oh, I see.
Well, look, I got to hang up now, Dad. I got a lot of things to do tonight. I'm going to see South Pacific.
South Pacific? You're going to see South Pacific?
Yeah.
Gee, how I envy you. I pulled all kinds of strings to see that show. I couldn't even get one ticket.
Really?
I tried everything.
Have you tried money?
Yes, I even washed Mary Martin's hair. Now, Phil, if you're stopping off at Niagara Falls, will you be back in Hollywood in time for my next Sunday's program?
Sure, I'll be there, Jackson. You know I love you.
Huh?
Your option is coming up. I wouldn't let you down.
Well, that's very thoughtful of you, Maestro. Goodbye.
So long, Clyde.
So long. Bye, baby.
Who was it, boss?
Mr. Harris. Well, I better get dressed now. Miss Livingston said that she might... There's that dog in the next room barking again. Kept me awake half the night. Got a good mind to complain to his owner.
His owner lives at the Sherry Netherlands.
The Sherry Netherlands?
He only took a room here for his dog.
Fine thing. Imagine them putting a Cocker Spaniel in the next room.
They tried to give him this one, but he wanted the window.
Afforded. Why not? Rochester, hand me my tie, will you?
Here you are, boy.
Come in. Well, hello, Mary.
Hello, Jack. Hello, Rochester.
Yeah, don't be late there, right?
Hi, Miss Livingston.
You know, Mary, when you said you might... Can't wait till he goes to the races. You know, Mary, when you said you'd come right over to this hotel, I wasn't sure that you would.
Well, I have a confession to make. I only came out here out of curiosity.
Oh.
And, Jack, this Acme Plaza certainly is different.
What do you mean, different?
Well, I walked in the lobby. I asked the clerk for your room, and he said it was 6 floors down.
All right, so you had to take the elevator.
Some elevator. They lowered me in a bucket.
Mary.
They got a picture of John L. Lewis in the lobby.
Mary.
And the bellboys are on a 3-day week.
Oh, stop. Be happy you found the place. You have any trouble?
No, I was lucky. I got in a cab and said, "Driver, do you know where the Acme Plaza is?" And he said, "Yes, ma'am, I used to live there when I was out of work."
Now I know you just made that up.
No, I didn't, Jack. Say, have you got your program all set for Sunday?
Most of it, Mary, but I don't know what to do about a commercial. The Sportsman Quartet didn't come to New York.
Oh, sir, you mentioned that yesterday, so I took the liberty to ask some friends of mine to come down and audition for you.
Oh, thanks, Rochester. And you know, Mary, I thought that on the opening of the show, I might play my violin. I haven't done that yet in New York.
Oh, Jack, nobody wants to hear you play Love and Bloom.
Mary, I've learned a new one, Some Enchanted Evening. Wait till I get my violin and I'll play it for you.
Here it is, boss.
Thanks. Oh, Mary, this will be swell now.
Okay.
Oh, wait a minute. How do you like that? Hey, listen. There's another violinist in this hotel.
That's the dog. He's playing at the Palace this week.
No kidding.
He used to be with the Met, but he had trouble with Rudolph Bing.
Oh, yes, I read about that. Anyway, Mary, I'm going to play my violin in the program. It'll be very good.
Okay, Jack, okay. Now, how about going out and get something to eat?
We don't have to go out. We can eat right here.
Jack, you mean you want to eat here in this room?
Certainly. Rochester, get room service.
Yes, sir. I'll put a note in the bucket and tell them to lower a waiter.
Stop being funny. I don't care how you do it.
Jack, there's so many nice restaurants in town. Why don't we go out?
Mary, they have very fine food here. There's nothing wrong with this hotel. Maybe a little out of the way. What was that?
Well, hello, Jack. Hello, Mary.
Hello, Don.
Don, I didn't expect to see you. How'd you know where I live?
Well, I didn't. I was walking along the street and fell down an open manhole.
Oh.
Gosh, what a beautiful view of Central Park. Ouch!
Don, what happened?
I tried to stick my head out the window.
Look, Jack, it's snowing.
Yeah. Oh, that must be the waiter now. Come in.
Mr. Bennett?
Yes?
Rochester told us to drop by. He said you were looking for a singing group.
Oh, yes. Come on in, fellas. It was nice of you boys to come over. What do you call yourselves?
The Ink Spots.
The Ink Spots. Well, boys, I'm glad you're here. Rochester told me you had an idea for a number that could be used on my program.
Yes, sir. We took our theme song and made a special arrangement just for you.
Oh, how nice. Could I hear it now?
Yes, sir.
Well, sit down, Mary, Don. Come on, fellas, let's have it.
If I didn't care more than words can say, if I didn't care, would I feel this way? why do I thrill? And what makes my head go round and round while my heart stands still? If I didn't care, would it be the same? Would my every prayer begin and end with just your name? And would I be sure that this is love beyond compare? Would all this be true if I didn't care for you?
You know, Don, the ink spots are going to be great.
They sure will, Jack. What else have you planned for the show?
Well, as I was telling Mary, I think that I ought to... Well, that must be the waiter. Come in.
Room service.
Oh, yes. Come in, waiter. Mary, what do you want to eat?
Oh, I don't know. Waiter, let me see that menu.
Here you are, kid.
Mary, let me look at it. Let's see. Beef stew, wieners and sauerkraut, goulash, spaghetti and meatballs, porterhouse steak. Say, that's reasonable for a porterhouse.
That's the old price. We had to raise it.
Oh. How much is it now?
45 cents.
Wow.
Jack.
Huh?
Can't we go somewhere else?
Don't worry about me. The food is fine here.
Oh, all right. Waiter, have you any lamb chops?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll have that, too.
Waiter, we'll all have lamb chops.
Yes, sir. Would you mind saving the bones for the guests in the next room?
What?
He always liked something to eat after his last show.
Never mind, waiter. Go get the food.
Oh, say, Jack, you started to tell me something about the program.
Oh, yes, Don. Now, look at it. Well, I was planning to play my violin. And then after the commercial, I thought we would do Allen's Alley.
Allen's Alley?
Yes, Mary, look. You see, Fred Allen has been off the air for nearly a year, and as long as we're here in New York, I thought it'd be a nice touch to bring back those wonderful people who lived in Allen's Alley.
Oh, that's a swell idea, Jack.
I'm glad you like it, Don, because I've already hired Kenny Delmar, Parker Fendley, Peter Donald.
Well, who's going to play the part of Fred Allen?
I am, Mary, and you'll be Portland.
But, Jack, do you think we can play those parts?
Certainly, Mary. Look, here's exactly how it'll go on the program. Now, first, I'll put a clothespin on my nose like this. Now, wait till I fix it here on the nose. I have to sound like... Wait a minute. And then you say...
Oh, Mr. Allen! Mr. Allen!
Well, Portland. Gee.
Well, Portland, I see you're reading the newspaper. What's new?
Well, here's an interesting item in the personal column.
A personal ad? Read it to me.
Here it is. Two handsome young men with sniffles would like to meet two attractive young ladies with fever. Object to share 4-way cold tablets.
Gad, what romance. Come on, Portland, let's go down to Allen Valley.
And what is your question tonight?
My question tonight is, do you think television will replace radio?
Shall we go?
As the man said when he stepped on his bathroom scales, I'm on my way. Well, things look kind of quiet here in Allen's Alley, but I think Senator Claghorn is home. I can smell the aroma of poached possum. I'll knock on his door.
Somebody say somebody pizzicato my pie.
Yes, Senator.
Speak up. Don't stand there spinning your pivot tooth. It makes me dizzy.
Well, Senator...
Get to the point, son. I'm busier than a bubble dancer with a slow lead.
All right, Senator, but
Make it fast, son. I'm packing. Leaving for Florida, that is.
Oh, is this your first trip?
Son, I've spent so much time down in Florida, people think I'm Mayor O'Dwyer.
Now, look.
That's a joke, son.
I know.
Well, you ain't laughing when you hear a joke. You're supposed to yuck it up.
All right. Now, look, Senator, I have a question I'd like to ask you. Do you think television will ever replace radio?
Well, I don't know about that, son, but I do know that television will play a big part in the next presidential election.
What do you mean, Senator?
Well, now, there won't be any campaign speeches in 1952. For the Democrats, Margaret will sing, and little old Harry will play the piano.
I see.
Yeah, and the Republicans... the Republicans, they're going to make a song and dance team out of Taft and Hartley.
Well, Senator, if television will play such a big part, who do you think will win the next election?
Milton Berle. So long, son. So long. So long. So long.
Why, the Senator is a windy one. I'll pick up my hat and go next door. I wonder if Titus Moody is in.
Howdy, Bub.
Say, Titus. Say, Titus, what's the matter? You look like you've been crying.
All night long.
Crying all through the night? What's wrong?
Oh, my friend Lem Hawkins. He up and died.
Oh, that's a shame. When did Lem die?
Last spring.
Wait a minute, Mr. Moody. How come you're crying now if Lem went last spring?
He died during the planting season. I was too busy then.
How old was Lem?
97.
Died of old age, eh?
No. It was an accident.
An accident?
He worked over at the maple syrup factory.
Yes?
One day he slipped, fell into a vat of maple syrup, sweetened himself to death.
No.
Yep. That was last spring. They're still fighting the ants off his grave.
Well, Mr. Moody, enough about the saccharine Mr. Hawkins. I'd like to ask you a question.
Make it fast, Bub. I got to go slop the hogs.
Mr. Moody, do you think television will replace radio?
Why, no. The farmers, they'll never go for television.
Why not?
Well, sir, I bought a television set myself, put it in the hen house to step up egg production.
And did it work?
Well, first I tuned in the wrestling matches for them. That didn't do any good.
It didn't?
No. When Gorgeous George come on, the hens would just sit there and pant.
Uh-huh.
Then I tuned in Faye Emerson.
Yes?
I'd just sit there and pant.
I see.
Finally, I found the program that made the hens lay eggs. Hopalong Cassidy.
How did Hoppy make those hens produce?
Well, sir, every time Hoppy shot his gun, they'd lay an egg.
No.
Yep. It was a pleasure to watch Hoppy in a six-reeler. Him a shooting and them a laying.
So now you're prosperous,
Well, no. I would have been, but in one picture, Hoppy double-crossed me.
Hoppy double-crossed you? How?
Why, he pulled out a machine gun. All my hens dropped dead trying.
Well, I wonder who I'll find in this next house.
Well, there's Jack Cassidy.
It's good to see you again.
The same to you, Ajax. But wait, you have a black eye.
I have, me boy. It's a badge of honor I acquired last night during a practice at Kerrigan's Cozy Corner.
You mean you were in a fight? Tell me what happened.
I will. Last night, you see, I entered Kerrigan's Cozy Corner. A peaceful man. With nothing on me mind but the delights of a tall foaming glass of beer.
Yes?
So I ordered me beer, you see. And over comes Kerrigan and questions me credit.
I see.
Well, when Kerrigan passed his present on me credit, we exchanged a few words.
Uh-huh.
Then we exchanged a few blows.
Uh-huh.
And Kerrigan started hitting me over the head with a bottle of 4 roses.
And what happened next?
He switched to Calvert.
Well, Ajax, the question I'd like to ask you tonight is, do you think television will replace radio?
Well, now, me boy, that's a hard question to answer. You see, in my house, we have both a television set and a radio.
I see. And what do you listen to most?
My wife. Goodbye to you.
Now that brings us to the last little house in Allen Valley. I wonder who we'll find here.
Hello, Mr. Allen. Why, Mr. Kitzel.
Tell me, Mr. Kitzel, what are you doing here in New York?
Well, Mr. Allen, last week in Hollywood, I was walking down Sunset Boulevard, and as I passed a radio station, a man with a hook dragged me into a quiz program.
A quiz program?
Yeah, they asked me questions. I gave them answers. And the next thing I know, I'm spending 2 glorious weeks in the Bronx.
Well, that's wonderful. Tell me, Mr. Kitzel, are you having a good time?
Mr. Allen, every night a different show.
Really? What shows have you seen since you've been here?
Oh, I saw The Rat Race, Death of a Salesman, Miss Liberty, and last night I saw Max's Little Darling.
You mean Texas, Little Darling?
No, Max's Little Darling. I had dinner with my brother Max's wife.
Oh.
Some little darling. She weighs 240 pounds.
240 pounds?
On the present rate of exchange.
Well, getting back to the original question, I'd like to ask your honest opinion. Do you think television will replace radio?
For this, I'm in no position to venture an opinion.
You're not, eh?
No. I'll admit that I didn't rush out to buy one. Being very practical, I listened first to what people were saying about it, whether they were making them good enough, and whether it was worth the investment. And after debating to myself pro and con, I finally decided it was here to stay, so last week I went out and bought one.
A television set?
No, a radio.
And what a display of confidence. Well, that's all I wanted to know. Goodbye, Mr. Kitzel.
Goodbye, Mr. Denny.
What?
With those blue eyes, you didn't fool me for 1 second.
Well, thank you. Good night.
Good health to all from Rexall. It's the Phil Harris Alice Faye Show, presented by the makers of Rexall drug products and 10,000 independent Rexall family druggists.
Good evening. This is your Rexall family druggist with a welcome from the 10,000 independent druggists who have made the word Rexall part of our own store names. You can always tell us by the orange and blue Rexall sign on our windows. The sign means that we carry the 2,000 or more drug products made with the Rexall Drug Company. Many of you are already familiar with some of these famous products, like MI31, for example, Rexall's popular mouthwash. MI31 is the antiseptic formula that kills contacted germs almost instantly when used full strength. And quality like that of Rexall MI31 is what we family druggists are talking about when we tell you you can depend on any drug product that bears the name Rexall.
Good health to all from Rexall. And now your Rexall family druggist brings you the Phil Harris Alice Faye Show. Written by Ray Singer and Dick Chevrolet with Elliot Lewis, Walter Tetley, Robert North, Janine Roos, Ann Whitfield, Walter Sharp and his music, yours truly, Bill Foreman, and starring Alice Faye and Phil Harris. After spending a few exciting weeks in New York, the Harris family has returned to California. As we look in, we find Alice, Phil, and the children in a taxi just pulling away from the station.
Oh, it's good to be back in California. There's no place like it.
Oh, I don't know. New York's certainly an interesting city. They got a lot of historical landmarks there, and Frankie and me visited every one of them. We discovered some very educational and invaluable facts.
Like what?
Well, they have one public library, 672 pool rooms, and 5,823 bars, of which 4,700 are heated.
How did the library get in there?
Oh, well, that's where we used to meet before we went to the interesting spot.
Well, for your information, there are 108 public libraries in New York. There are also 46 museums, 18 colleges, 81 high schools, and 542 elementary schools.
Ooh, this kid's a regular stasimatisman. Say, tell me something. If they got so many schools there, why don't nobody go to them?
What do you mean?
Nobody knows how to talk English there. Everybody sounds like Julius. And as for their grammar, ugh. The city of 8 million dangling participles. Glad we got the kids out of that town before they started talking like New Yorkers.
Oh, don't be silly. They don't talk any differently than we do. Girls, did you notice anything unusual about the way New Yorkers talk?
Nah, I didn't notice nothing. Did you, Phyllis? They talk just like other people. They soik and they don't, dearie.
Thank you, Leo DeRocha and Broadway Road. Alice, I won't have my children talking like that. I want you to see that they stop it right now, or I'll...
All right. Keep your shine on, Coily.
Somehow from you it sounds natural. I'm glad we're back in California where people talk the King's English. I'm tired of hearing people talk like they were born in Ebbets Field. Hey, driver, are you sure you know how to get to Encino?
Certainly, Mac. What are you asking? I go up 4th and take a left turn on 3rd.
Say, Alice, I was a little hazy when we left New York. We didn't take this cab all the way from Brooklyn, did we? Of all the cab drivers in Los Angeles, we got to get one from New York.
Hey, what makes you think I'm from New York?
I just took a shot in the dark. You are from Brooklyn, aren't you?
Of course not.
Then where are you from?
Stromboli.
Stromboli? Hey, Bud.
Bill!
Well, I could have sworn you were from England.
I am. Churchill Downs, to be exact. Anyway, what's the matter with New York? We got some very nice folks there. Where are you from?
From Nashville, Tennessee, sir.
Oh, a hillbilly. Oh, I was wondering why you didn't have no shoes on.
I've got shoes on. They're a beautiful canary color.
Those are shoes? I thought you had yellow jaundice at the feet. I can't stand people who always knock in New York.
I agree with you, driver. I think it's a lovely city.
What would a hillbilly like you know about it?
Oh, I was born and raised in New York.
You was? Well, come on, sit up front with me, Blondie. Get away from boiled eyes.
All the nerve talking to my wife like that, and Alice stopped climbing over the seat.
Just getting ready to get out. Driver, this is our house right here.
Thank goodness. Oh, man, home at last. Yeah. How much the fare, driver?
£1, 9 shillings, 6 halfpenny.
Well, Benita, don't stand there. Throw a quid on this peasant.
Sorry, Ronnie, but I don't have a farthing.
All right. Cut the stall, and I want $4.80.
But look, I don't have it. I spent my last penny on the train. Go ahead, Alice. Pay the man.
I
Pay.
can't, Phil. I can't. I spent all my money shopping in New York.
You couldn't have spent all your money. All you did was buy a few little things, like the Empire State Building and Radio City.
I forgot to tell you, honey. They had a sale at Macy's, and I couldn't resist it.
What did you buy?
Macy's. Now, look, driver, why don't you run along and we'll send you a check, huh?
Yeah, William, because my wife and me happen to be a little short.
I'll stick around till you grow. I don't want no checks. I want my money, and I ain't leaving till I get it.
Wait, I have a way of settling this. You see, driver, I'm Phil Harris, the entertainer. And, I don't like to brag, but people pay as much as $5 to hear me sing.
No.
Yeah. And I thought that if I were to sing for you, we could call it square. What do you say?
I don't want no song. The meter says $4.80, and that's what I want.
You'll forget what that meter says when you hear this. Now, just sit on the running board and relax, Winston. Have you ever passed the corner out Ford and Grand, where a little ball of rhythm runs the shoe shine stand? People gather round and they clap their hands. He's a great big bundle of joy. He pops a boogie-woogie rag, the Chattanooga shoe shine boy. He charges you a nickel just to shine one shoe. Makes the oldest kind of leather look like new. Feel as though you want to dance when he gets through, 'cause he's a great big bundle of joy. He pops a boogie-woogie rag, the Chattanooga shoe shine boy. But it's a wonder that rag don't tap the way he makes it pop, bop. You ought to hear him pan in the air. Hoppity, hippity, hippity, hoppity, hoppity, hippity, hop. He opens up for business when the clock strikes 9. He wants to get 'em early. He says that's when he's feeling fine. Everybody gets a little rise and shine with that great big bundle of joy. He whops a boogie-woogie rag, the Chattanooga shoe shine boy. Oh, boy, that's fine. Say, what's your name?
Scatman Raw.
Scatman Ross, huh?
Mm-hmm. But you can just call me Raw.
Well, I'm going to say one thing, Ross. You laid down a lot of claws. But it's a wonder that rag don't tear. The way he makes it snap, bap. You ought to hear him fan in the air. With a slappy-wap-bap, 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 with the bap-bap-de-bap. He opens up for business when the clock strikes 9. He says, I love to get 'em early. He said, that's when they're feeling fine. Everybody gets a little rise and shine with that great big bundle of joy. He whops a boogie-woogie rag, the Chattanooga shoe shine boy.
Boss, this is what you call flogging the flow shine.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Say, what would you do if I'd lay down a half?
Oh, man, a half would make me laugh.
'Cause he's the Chattanooga shoe shine boy. Well, driver, what does the meter say now?
650. It took your tempo.
Oh, a Milton Berle meter, huh? Look, will you wait here, driver? Alice, let's get in the house and call Frankie and tell him to bring over some money for this guy. Look, you don't mind trusting us for a little while, do you?
Nah, you got an honest face.
Well, thank you. Come on, children, come in the house.
Oh, let they stay with me till I get my money.
Oh, how do you like this guy?
Well, don't blame him. This is your fault. You should have known better than to come home without any money. You have no sense of responsibility. You don't stop to think. You... Oh, I should have married Sam Heffelmeyer.
Maybe you should have married... Who in the heck is Sam Heffelmeyer?
I don't know, but I should have married him.
Well, it wouldn't have worked. It sounds silly.
What would sound silly?
Rexall presents Alice Faye and Sam Heffelmeyer. Alice, I'm sorry about this, but as soon as we get in the house, I'll... Wait a minute. Now, what are all them bottles of milk doing on the porch, Mrs. Heffelmeyer?
Milk? Oh, I guess I forgot to tell the milkman we were going away. You don't hate me, do you, dear?
No. But I'm mulling it over. A week's supply of milk gone sour. How can you do a thing like that?
But, Phil, it's only milk.
Only milk? I'll thank you to show more respect for my favorite liner. Now, let's get in the house and call Frankie. Alice, how can you be so forgetful? It's a good thing you gave me the checks to mail for the gas and electric companies. Or you would have forgotten to do that, too. I got to be the brains for the whole family. Kind of dark in here. Turn the lights on.
Yes, dear.
Well, turn the lights on.
I've got news for you, Brains. No lights.
Let me at that switch. What do you mean, no lights? No lights.
Well, are you sure you mailed the check to the electric company?
Well, not personally. I gave it to Frankie to mail. And...
Oh, no. He probably forgot to mail.
Oh, no, he didn't. When he got to New York, I looked in the pocket of his suit, and it was gone.
He probably has it in the pocket of his other suit.
What other suit? Now, there must be some mistake. I'll take care of that later. Right now, I better call Remy and tell him to get over here with some money for that cab. There's no telling what.
Hiya, Curly.
Hiya, Frankie. I'm glad you're here.
I'm glad you're here. Give me $5 so I can pay for my cab. My car wouldn't start, so I came over from my house in a taxi.
All right, wait a minute. Now, wait a minute. From your house to my house only cost $1.50. Why do you need 5?
I'm a big tipper. Stop stalling. Give me the pen.
I ain't got it. In fact, I got my own cab outside that I'm in hock to.
Frankie, before we left for New York, Phil gave you some letters to mail. What happened to them?
Nothing happened to them. They're all safe in my bureau drawer.
Frankie, those were the checks to pay for the utilities. Now they've turned my lights off, and I told you 2 months ago that I got a letter from them, and we were in arrears, and they were sending me threatening letters.
That's why I didn't mail the check. I didn't like the electric company's attitude. I don't like people who threaten my friends.
All right, wait a minute. Now, just hold it a minute. We're not getting anywhere this way. I'd better phone Willie and tell him to get over here with some money for that cab. Give me the phone.
Curly?
Hello, operator?
Curly?
Operator?
Curly?
Quiet, Frankie. I'm trying to use the phone.
The only way you can use that phone is to make a lamp out of it.
What do you mean?
I didn't like their attitude either.
Frankie, you mean you didn't mail the phone bill?
I couldn't show any partiality.
Oh, no. We ain't got no money, we ain't got no lights, and we ain't got no phone.
You ain't got no gas, too.
You got the gas shut off, too? Oh, Remley, I'm so mad I could boil you alive.
I'd like to see you try it without water.
The water, too?
When I get mad, I go whole hog.
Remley, I
did it for you and Alice, Curly. Those companies were threatening you. And I defend the people I love.
Love I got, it's gas we need. Remley, how can you do these things to me? What's the matter with you?
Phil, don't shout at Frankie. He said he did it because he loves us. Do you really feel that way about us, Frankie?
Of course I do. I love Curly like a brother. And as for you, Alice, I love you as if you were my own mother.
I'm not old enough to be your mother. In fact, I'm barely old enough to be your sister.
All right, I love you as if you were my own sister. The married one with the 2 grown sons.
There was only some way to get out of here so I could get enough money to take care of that tech. Hey, wait a minute. I forgot I have a car in the garage. Come on, Remley, drive over to Willie's with me so I can get the dough.
Why do I have to drive over with you?
I might have an accident, and I don't want you to miss it. Hey, honey, we'll be back soon. Don't worry.
But, Phil, what am I going to do while you're gone?
What you rehearsed all morning.
Wonderful, marvelous, you should care for me. Awful night, paradise, what I love to see. You've made my life so glamorous. You can't blame me for feeling amorous. Oh, it's wonderful, marvelous, that you should care for me.
It's wonderful, what's more, it's marvelous. Someone like you should care for me.
Oh, it's awful night, paradise, what I love to see. My dear, it's 4-leaf clover time. From now on, my heart's working overtime. Oh, it's wonderful, marvelous,
My battery needs recharging.
Well, you're getting older and... Oh, honey, you mean the car.
Yeah. You see, I haven't used the car in 3 weeks and the battery's dead. Now I haven't any way of getting in town. Oh, if our phone wasn't disconnected, it'd be so simple.
In that case, let's connect it.
What do you mean, and how many years can we get for what you got in mind?
Curly, please. You know I wouldn't get involved in anything illegal. All you have to do is a little wiretapping.
Wiretapping?
Yeah. Let's climb up the telephone pole outside the house, connect your phone to the wire, and you can call Willie.
Frankie, you're another Einstein.
So, we'll run as an entry.
Fellas, wiretapping is against the law.
Alice, please. Now, let's get started, Curly. I'll take the phone, you get a ladder and some long wire, and I'll meet you outside by the pole.
Okay. Hey, Remley. It's kind of high up here on top of this pole. Ooh, I'm getting dizzy.
Well, don't look down. You'll be all right. Here you are, Curly. Take this knife and scrape that wire. Then attach it to the one we brought up, and we're in business.
Okay, I'll scrape. Scraping this wire couldn't be dangerous, could it?
That's a very stupid question. All they got up here is telephone wires.
You're sure, huh?
Well, if you don't believe me, there's a sign above the wire that tells you what it is. See what it says.
Okay. This ain't gonna help. Just has the name of the fellow who put the pole up. Some guy named High Tension. Remley, do you realize if I'd have touched that wire like you told me, I could have been killed?
So I made a little mistake.
Little mistake? Stuff going through that wire is powerful. It's over 100 proof.
Well, now that you proved this other one is a telephone wire, I'll scrape it.
Go ahead.
Here. Now to attach this long wire from the phone.
Yes, I meant to ask you about that. Just a minute. Now, why did you leave the phone down below? Why didn't we bring it up here?
Because I don't want anybody to see us making a call up here on the pole. You never can tell when someone...
Who is that up there?
Oh. It's me and Mr. Remley.
Oh. Well, that's a good spot for a couple of polecats. What are you doing up there?
We're making a phone call.
These guys got a corner on stupid answers. What do you mean you're making a phone call?
Not so loud, Julius. We're tapping a wire.
That's right. As long as you're down there, you can help us out, kid. Now pick up the phone and see if you can get the operator. You got
Okay.
Go on.
Hello, operator. Hold the wire, lady. Hey, fellas. Ain't wire tapping against the law? Don't people get sent to jail for this?
Only if they get caught, but we ain't getting caught.
You want to bet? Operator, get me the police.
Julius, you're a nice kid. You wouldn't turn us in.
I'm a little louse and I would, too. Operator, get me the police.
Curly, let's climb down the ladder and get him quick.
If I was you, I wouldn't climb down this broken ladder.
What makes you think it's broken?
Could I have that straight line again?
Curly, he kicked the ladder away.
Right, a little demon. I ought to
What's
kick
going
it.
on up there? I can't hear on the phone. Hello?
Police headquarters, Riley speaking.
This is a civic-minded citizen calling to report 2 wiretappers.
Wiretappers, huh? Do you think they're spies?
Oh, I don't think they're spies.
What do they look like?
Well, one looks like Stalin and the other like Molotov.
I don't look like Molotov.
Of course you don't, Uncle Joe.
Officer, you'll find these men on top of a telephone pole in front of Phil Harris's house. You better get over here with a riot squad.
We'll be right over with tear gas and machine guns.
Fellas, you hear that? The cops are coming with machine guns.
Oh, no. What are we going to do, Frankie?
Don't get excited, Curly. Let them come, kid. When the cops get here, they'll give us a chance to explain everything.
I never thought of that. Officer, when you get here, don't stop to ask questions. Just shoot to kill. Well, now that I've done my duty, I think I'll amble along. See you in the morgue, fellas.
Julius, come back here. Julius, don't leave us up. Frankie, you talked me into climbing up here and tapping the wires, and now it's all your fault.
Well, how was I to know Julius was going to call the
You
cops?
should have stopped him from making that call.
How? Wait a minute. I could have stopped them by pulling off this wire that we connected.
That's all you had to do? Now you think of it. Why didn't you think of it while he was talking on that phone? Remley, come here a minute. I said come here a minute.
Here's the gangbusters.
I don't care who's coming. I'm going to take you and you...
Stay away from me, Curly.
I'll stay
away.
I'll show you
Get
how
away
to
from
stay
me.
away from you.
Hey,
you
up there. I'm arresting you two for wiretapping.
Arrest him for that. I'm going to have something better for you. I'm about to become a murderer. Come here, Remley. Let me get my hands on you. I'm going to...
You stay on your own side of the pole.
I'm not going to stay on my own side.
Alice and Phil will be back in just a moment. But first, here's your Rexall family druggist.
The other day, another Rexall druggist and I were talking about the increase in calls for Bismarex that we get during the winter.
Why? What's the reason for that?
Well, everyone just naturally eats a lot heavier and richer foods during cold weather. And then we are asked to recommend something that will quickly relieve acid indigestion.
And you recommend Bismarex?
You bet I do. Why, it's nothing at all for Bismarex to relieve the discomforts of acid indigestion within 5 minutes. And what's more important, the relief is prolonged.
What is it makes this Bismarex so good?
The formula, my friend. You see, the ingredients in Bismarex vary in the time required for solubility. That way, certain ingredients go to work at once. For instance, excess acidity is often neutralized within 1 minute. Then the other ingredients, dissolving more slowly, ease up those gastric pains and heartburn when due to excess acid. And finally, Bismarex leaves a soothing protective covering on irritated stomach membranes, so the relief will be prolonged.
No wonder you get a lot of calls for Bismarex.
No wonder you'll find it in millions of family medicine chests. Yes, quality like that of Bismarex is what we family druggists are talking about when we tell you you can depend on any drug product that bears the name Rexall.
Good health to all from Rexall.
Why don't you get rid of Frankie? All he ever does is get us into trouble. How could he forget to pay our bills?
You should talk. You're as bad as he is. He forgot to pay our utilities, and you forgot to discontinue the milk. Everything's okay now. Forget about it. I paid all the bills, and now that everything is turned on again, our house will be just as cozy as ever.
Yes, dear. You're wonderful, and Phil, there's a man putting a sign up outside our house.
A sign? What does it say?
Sheriff's sale.
Oh, no, I forgot to make the payment on the house.
This program was produced and directed by Paul Phillips. Included in today's cast were Jerry Hausner and Ken Christie. The part of Frankie Remley was played by Elliot Lewis, and Julius was played by Walter Tetley. Alice Faye appeared through the courtesy of 20th Century Fox. Winter colds often have a pesky running mate, a dry, hacking cough. When that...
Gentlemen, the Joseph Schlitz Brewing Company of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, presents The Halls of Ivy, starring Mr. and Mrs. Ronald Coleman.
I was curious. I tasted it. Now I know why Schlitz is the beer that made Milwaukee famous.
If you like good beer, you'll find it pays to be curious and learn about Schlitz for yourself. And now, the Halls of Ivy.
We love the halls of ivy that surround us here today, and we will not forget though we be far, far away.
Welcome again to Ivy. Ivy College, that is, in the town of Ivy, USA. 5 people didn't go to bed at all last night here at Ivy. Grogan, the campus policeman who was making his rounds, 2 sophomores and a freshman who were investigating certain mathematical phenomena, such as the odds against drawing to an inside straight, and Dr. William Todd Hunter Hall, the president of Ivy, who's been working at his desk in the study of his home since shortly after dinner yesterday. The chapel bell is striking 8 as his wife, the former Victoria Cromwell of the London stage, enters and says,
Good morning, Dr. Hall.
Good morning.
And congratulations. You've just set a new record for going without sleep. Any statement for the press, champ?
Yes, I'm glad to bring the cup back to Ivy, where it belongs, and I'm looking forward with great confidence to the international match in Brussels next spring.
Oh, poor darling. How do you feel?
Oh, surprisingly well, if the ability to cope with whimsy on an empty stomach is at all indicative. Do I look awful?
Interesting, rather. One so seldom sees a chartreuse complexion.
Bad as that, eh? Well, it's worth it. One seldom sees an annual report as superb as the one I've just finished writing. Here, have a look.
Let's see. The state of the college.
Or, in the vernacular, out of the red and over the hump with Hall.
You sound enormously set up about it.
I've reason to be. I'd no idea how much I'd accomplished last year until I put it all down in black and white. The endowment fund is up, the building fund is up, enrollments are up.
And what are you doing up? Will you be working very much longer this morning?
I'm ready for bed.
Well, good. Penny will be right in with your overcoat and hat.
My overcoat and hat? Vicky, we've been married long enough for me to make a confession. I never go to bed wearing an overcoat and hat. I'm one of those odd fellows who slips between the sheets wearing only pajamas. I know I should have revealed this before, but
I told Penny to bring in our hats and coats because I'm taking you for a walk. A short walk for relaxation, a light breakfast, and then a good long sleep.
Excuse me, Mum.
Yes,
I've
Penny.
brought you things. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Penny. I'll take those. Thank you. You're looking well this morning, Penny.
Thank you very kindly, sir. And you're looking... It's a very nice morning for a walk.
You don't say.
Yes, sir. It snowed last night, the first real snow we've had this year, and it's ever so lovely. Makes one want to go out and throw snowballs at top hats.
Feel free to do so whenever the spirit moves you, Penny. I'm ready, Victoria. Penny, you didn't by any chance notice a snowman on our front lawn, did you?
Should I have, sir?
Well, after the first really good snowfall of the year, the students had the custom of building a snowman in front of the home of each faculty member. You've heard of that, haven't you?
No, sir.
And the more affection they have for you, the larger the snowman they build.
There ain't one on our lawn. Allow me, sir.
Why, I dare say the snow fell too late for them to have taken advantage of it last night.
Which way should we walk, Toddy? Along Faculty Row?
Yes, that'll do nicely.
Be back in half an hour, Penny. That custom the students have. It's almost cruel in a way.
Not in the least. I admit it must seem so to those members of the faculty for whom very small snowmen are built, but they survive. Professor Heaslip, for example, has survived years of snowmen not much larger than a Drosophila fruit fly.
Professor Heaslip is lucky the students built any token of affection on his lawn. If anything, his personality suggests excavation.
And the report I've just finished makes it more certain than ever he won't get my job. His carefully cultivated friendship with the chairman of the board notwithstanding. It's really a smashing report, Vicky. I raised almost $1 million in endowments, built...
Built what? What from?
Look, there's a snowman in front of Professor Quincannon's house.
Oh.
The snow came early enough after all.
Well, perhaps it wasn't the students, Toddy. Professor Quincannon has 2 children. They may have built it. Children build snowmen, too, you know.
Of course, that must be it. I mean, after all, there's no reason to suppose the students would build one for Quincannon and overlook me, is there? I mean, there's no reason to suppose they're antagonistic to me. I don't see why they should be. Do you?
No, of course they're not. You were telling me about your smashing report. Toddy, come on.
Oh, yes, my report. I suppose I shouldn't have said it's a smashing report. It's not really smashing, but it's a darn good one. I believe I may say, without immodesty, that I'm good at my job. After all, a college president must have ability and...
Keenness of vision?
Well, all college presidents have keen vision. A few, in fact, can even see themselves in the White House in 1952. You know, I knew a man once who...
I'm listening. Who what? What are you staring at?
A snowman in Professor Howard's front yard.
Oh, yes. Oh, I suppose Professor Howard's children must have built one, too.
Professor Howard is a bachelor.
Of course, I'd forgotten. Well, then, Professor Quincannon's children must have come over from next door. I remember when I was a child, I used to build snowmen all over the place. Couldn't get enough of them. Fairly cover the landscape and build one in front of my house and one next door and then one further down the street.
Yes, they could have come over from next door, couldn't they? Quincannon's children, I mean.
Well, of course they could.
They could have jumped over the hedge or even come around that way through the gate.
Mm-hmm.
It's not much more than 30 paces. And you know, they're very active youngsters, positively hyperthyroid.
Oh, they are.
Oh, one probably said to the other, let's build one now on old Howard's lawn.
Yes, exactly. As a matter of fact, I seem to remember having heard children shouting something like that earlier this morning. You were telling me about your report. Your report. I want to hear more about how darn good it is.
Oh, I suppose I shouldn't have said it's a darn good report. It's not really. It's a fair report. A little more. Vicky, darling, you spend much more time with the students than I do, really. What with your coaching the junior follies and all. You haven't heard any grumbling about my administration, have you?
None, Toddy, none.
It wasn't a very tall hedge, you know. Quincannon's children could have jumped over it.
Or crashed through. I mean, they're very sturdy.
Oh, it's the most natural thing in the world.
Yes, Toddy, let's turn down this street. I'm rather tired of Faculty Row. Same old hedges, same old houses. This street seems very charming.
Really? You find that row of garbage pails charming?
Oh, well, I suppose not. Oh, dear. There's a snowman in front of Professor Warren's house, too.
The young Quincannons have had quite a busy morning.
Good morning, Doctor.
Good morning, Dr. Warren.
Good morning, Mrs. Hall. Out for a stroll?
Yes, we're out for a stroll.
Well, I find there's nothing like it on a morning like this for getting rid of the doldrums, don't you?
Occasionally.
We were just admiring the snowman in your front yard. It has a great deal of character.
Well, it's a pip, isn't it? I know it's not supposed to be good form for a faculty member to pay any attention to this sort of thing, but when you're 70, as I am, hypocrisy is too much of a strain. I just look at that gleaming monster and glow, Doctor. Glow.
Well, I don't blame you. And yet, the custom in some cases can be cruel, don't you think? I mean, the ones that don't get built.
Nope. It's not the custom that's cruel. It's the crushing impact of truth. Some people can't stand up under it at all. You take a president of Ivy we had in 1900, that's before your time. Bessemer was his name. 1 year, every member of the staff had a snowman except Bessemer. Old Pop Gut Bessemer. He resigned a few weeks later, for reasons of health, of course.
Oh, that seems very impulsive of him, a little drastic.
Well, Ivy's a small school and always has been. Personalities play a much bigger part than they do at some of these giant diploma factories. You wouldn't care to continue as president if you knew that students would much rather tie a can to your tail, would you, Doctor?
Well, now, that's an interesting way to put it, but, no, I suppose not.
Why, of course not. You look at it this way, Mrs. Hall. Teaching hardly ever pays off in money. The average prof makes only about $2,500 a year, and it hardly ever pays off in glory. I myself can name 10 baseball players or burlesque queens, bless them, for every teacher you can bring to mind. Well, then, what makes an old party like me, the last of the tobacco-chewing professors, or a man like your husband stay with it?
Pride in the job, I suppose.
Pride in the job. That and the feeling that maybe we're helping the young savages become not scholars, but men and women, and that they appreciate it. Take that away and what's left?
Absolute zero.
Here I am lecturing the president. Tell you, when you arrive at my age and succeed in conning people to regard you as a lovable old gaffer, you get away with murder. Care to come in for coffee?
No, thank you. We have breakfast waiting at home.
That's the wisest decision you've made today. In all the world, no one concocts as nauseating a cup of coffee as I do. I'll see you soon, I hope, ma'am.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, Dr. Warren.
He's a pip, isn't he? My snowman.
The very word for it, he's a pip.
Careful, don't slip on that snow.
By the way, Vicky, did I tell you I received a letter from Quesnel University this week?
I don't believe you did, Toddy. Why?
Well, they hadn't heard of the renewal of my contract as president here at Ivy, and they've made me a very flattering offer. Treasurer of the university. At almost the same salary I have here.
Toddy.
Further, and, perhaps of more importance, it's a purely administrative job. I wouldn't come into contact with students at all. Not ever.
Toddy.
They requested the courtesy of a reply this week. It's really a most flattering offer. I rather think I'll accept. Yes, I think it would be best.
I was curious. I tasted it. Now I know why Schlitz is the beer that made Milwaukee famous.
We'll return to the halls of Ivy, starring Mr. and Mrs. Ronald Coleman, in just a moment, as soon as we hear how a young actor got his first taste of fame.
Offhand, one would say there's scarcely a rhyme and hardly a reason for associating Shakespeare with Schlitz beer. But perhaps I better start at the beginning of my story. Our little theater group was putting on Romeo and Juliet, and I was this year's Romeo. Being handicapped by 2 left feet and an instinctive dread of high places, I don't mind telling you that climbing that balcony gave me a good deal of trouble in spite of considerable extra practice on my part. After our dress rehearsal, I still wasn't satisfied with my agility, so I decided to make a few practice climbs before calling it a night. As I reached the balcony the second time, I happened to glance down, and there below me I saw the rest of the cast gathered around drinking beer. The labels on the bottles told me it was Schlitz, and the expressions on the faces of my fellow players told me I was missing something. I knew Schlitz by reputation, but not by taste. So I climbed down from the balcony to find out what I was missing. If you could have seen me standing there in full Shakespearean costume, tasting Schlitz for the first time, you might have expected me to say something like, "'Pon my soul, what beer is this that lies so pleasantly upon the tongue?" But no, I just stood there speechless, grinning from ear to ear. The director, sensing my plight, said, "It seems that words can fail even an actor at a time like this. Let me say it for you. No wonder they call Schlitz the beer that made Milwaukee famous.
That surround us here today.
Returning to the halls of Ivy, we find a dispirited Dr. Hall strolling in the snow along Faculty Row with Mrs. Hall.
You're very quiet, Victoria.
I know. I'm concentrating. Trying to think of the right thing to say.
Oh, you don't have to say anything, my dear. The silent eloquence of the students has left very little unsaid.
Toddy, I know how you must feel. In a small way, I've been through it a number of times in the theatre. Playing for laughter and applause and getting the rustle of programs and a few coughs. You can say to yourself, chin up and good show and carry on, all that. And over it all, you can hear the lorries backing up to the stage door to haul the scenery away.
This time they're going to haul the actor away from the scenery. And after I'd convinced myself that I'd given such a sterling performance. Smashing report, indeed.
Would it help if I tried a recital of Kipling's If? It kills them in the provinces.
It's likely to prove lethal here, too. But thank you, my dear, anyway. As organizer and sole member of the William Todhunter Hall fan club, you've done some noble work.
Oh, Toddy, you don't have to try and laugh it off for me. Get it out of your system, darling. Blow up.
Curse the Board of Governors. And their promise that I wouldn't have to spend my time wangling emoluments. Curse my folly in believing them. To the devil with all fat heads who kept me away from the students. Bah!
Oh, that was lovely.
No wonder they feel no affection for me. I'm so seldom with them. Not that to know me is to love me, you understand.
I understand nothing of the sort. I know you very well, and I'm mad about you.
How difficult it is to... Oh, thank you, my dear. How difficult it is to maintain contact with the student body. One college president I know scheduled a speech to the senior class for the sole purpose of proving that he actually did exist.
Oh.
And that's what's wrong with my report.
Toddy, I'm sure it's a superb report.
No, on the contrary, I omitted all reference, beyond a few statistics, to the most important part of any school, the students, and what they think about the state of Ivy. I should have found time to teach more courses. Look at Hutchins at Chicago and Conant at Harvard. The students are what make a college, not campus buildings and installations. Diogenes discoursed from a tub, and his students listened, and it was a school.
Toddy, look, talking of tubs, I see Professor Heaslip.
Where?
Through this hedge. He's just leaving his front door.
Is there a snowman on his lawn?
Yes, a very small one, which he has just made larger with 2 handfuls of snow. Oh, he heard us and stepped back.
Well, hello there. Good morning, Skipper. Good morning, fair lady.
Good morning.
Good morning, Heaslip. It's a nice snowman you have there.
Yes, it's a very nice little one.
Oh, you should have seen it before the sun came up and melted it. Amazing how quickly it went. This is the warmest part of Faculty Row, you know.
Oh, really? I found the whole area very cold.
Oh, that's a mistake, Skipper. That snowman was inches lower. I mean higher, a few minutes ago. It melted down considerably. Also, the boys and girls happen to have chosen a slight dip in the ground on which to build it. Actually, much taller than it looks. Optical illusion, you know. Not that I pay any attention to such things, of course.
Of course.
I'm happy the students like me as much as they do.
Of course.
I've often asked myself why. Naturally, I don't court their affection. I'm a very strict but fair pedagogue, if I say so myself. Perhaps it's the occasional humor with which I sprinkle my lectures.
For example?
Well, yesterday, I was discussing nature references in the poetry of the more eminent Victorians, one of whom referred to a dogwood tree in some lyric or other. I asked my students if they knew how to distinguish a dogwood tree, and when they said they didn't, I told them. By its bark. Well, I must be getting to class. Good morning, Skipper.
Good morning, Heaslip.
Good morning, fair lady.
Good morning.
The warmest part of Faculty Row, indeed. And yet, for the sake of that little snowman, I think I'd almost be willing to change places with Heaslip.
It'd be a little bit rough on me.
What do the boys and girls, as he calls them, see in the man? Well, it's true he has no enemies, but that's more than balanced for the fact that none of his friends like him.
Well, let's turn back, Toddy.
Oh, this is probably one of the last times we'll ever stroll along here, Victoria. It's an attractive little street, isn't it?
Yes.
I've lived here a long time.
And I've loved it here.
You see that house across the way?
Mm-hmm.
I had a furnished room there when I was an instructor. On the top floor. Kitchen privileges. Female visitors permitted only as far as the front parlor. Please turn out the light before leaving the room.
Liberty Hall, wasn't it?
Then when I was appointed assistant professor, I moved over to this side of the street. Sitting room, bedroom and bath. Hot plate permitted. No wild parties.
Oh, what exactly was a wild party at Ivy in those days?
If I remember correctly, more than 2 people laughing at the same time. But then I allowed my appointment to a full professorship to go to my head, and I rented that Charles Adams mansion over there.
Oh, it wasn't a Charles Adams mansion. It was a wonderful old place to live.
Yes, it was, wasn't it? I mean, after I brought you there. It was fairly empty when I occupied it all by myself. It echoed. Empty and unsatisfying, and nothing I did with it, new furniture, new drapes, fresh paint, seemed to propitiate the fat little gods of the hearth.
Until you offered them me as a human sacrifice, eh?
You might very well have been mistaken for a human sacrifice as I handed you down from the taxi that first morning. You were scared to death.
Yeah, I was. I'd never had a home of my own before. Just hotel rooms and flats and theater dressing rooms.
Here we are, driver. And this is for you. This is our home, Victoria.
Oh, William. It's exactly the way I imagined it. All covered with vines and so very peaceful and quiet. And, oh, look! My name's on the letterbox.
I sent a letter from England asking that it can be done.
Professor W. Hall and Mrs. Victoria Cromwell Hall. Oh, thank you, Toddy, for being such a dear love. Is it always as quiet as this?
Yes. Nearly always.
And empty. I don't see any students.
One of them has just seen you. You seem to have arrived in more ways than one. Come on, let's go inside.
Oh, please take my hand. I'm suddenly appalled at how little I know about taking care of a household.
Hang on tight, darling. I have shortcomings, too.
Promise you'll overlook mine until I've learnt my way around.
I promise. It'll be a mutual understanding. Now, what did I do with the key?
Can't you find it?
Well, I could swear I had it in my hand. I thought Oh, I do have it in my hand.
Oh, you're as nervous as I am, really, aren't you? I'm so glad. I keep on forgetting you're new at this, too.
There. No, wait.
What?
Wait. There's a little ceremony involved here, a very nice one. I'll carry you across the threshold, like this.
Oh, Toddy, look, a snowman.
A snowman? What's a snowman doing in our hallway?
Don't you see it? The students must have come while we were out walking.
Yeah, but they've no right to build one inside the house. And where did they get the snow in May?
Oh, Toddy, it's a snowman, and it isn't May, it's February.
Yes, I know, but...
From wherever you were, dear, come back. You have a snowman.
Yeah, but I mean...
and it's the most enormous snowman you've ever seen. Right over there.
Oh! Why, it is a snowman. In our front yard. Vicky, This is our house, isn't it?
Yes, of course it is. Oh, Toddy, you're always losing yourself in your thoughts.
Not completely, my darling, because you're always with me. But I don't understand this
Look,
snowman.
There's a note attached to it. Yes, it's addressed to you. Here, what does it say?
Oh, one moment. To President Hall, the delay in construction is entirely your fault. If you must work nights, please do so in one of the back rooms and avoid those overlooking the front of the house. In that way, the traditional anonymity of the They misspelt anonymity. The traditional anonymity of the builders will be preserved. Affectionately, classes of 50 to 53 inclusive. Well, now. Of course, it was probably a good bit larger when they first put it up. After all, this is the warmest part of Faculty Row, you know.
Yeah, I know. Could you stand a bit of breakfast and some sleep now?
Breakfast by all means, but no sleep as yet. Remember, I have the report to get out.
Another report?
The same one, but better. Far better and a great deal more inclusive. Directly after breakfast, I shall want to see the presidents of every class in my study. Yes, and the officers of all student organizations, too.
All at once in your little study?
Oh, we'll get them in, my dear. We'll get them in. Look at that snowman. It's good packing today.
I was curious. I tasted it. Now I know why Schlitz is the beer that made Milwaukee famous.
And now, here again is Mr. Ronald Coleman.
The campaign to fight heart disease, this country's leading cause of death, is now underway. Diseases of the heart and blood vessels take an annual toll of more than 600,000 men, women, and children. A staggering number indeed. This dreaded menace accounts for 1 death out of every 3. A greater toll of lives than the next 5 causes of death combined. This year, give generously in support of this wonderful cause. Send your contributions to Heart, care of your local post office. Open your heart. Give to fight heart disease. Thank you. Good night.
Good night, everyone.
We'll be seeing you next week at this time at the Halls of Ivy, starring Mr. and Mrs. Ronald Coleman. The other players were Alan Reed, Gloria Gordon, and Arthur Q. Bryan. Tonight's script was written by Walter Brown Newman and Don Quinn. Our music was composed and conducted by Henry Russell. The Halls of Ivy was created by Don Quinn and directed by Nat Wolf. From the Joseph Schlitz Brewing Company and the Halls of Ivy, our heartiest congratulations to station WTIC in Hartford, Connecticut on this, their 25th anniversary. Ken Carpenter speaking.
We love the halls of ivy that surround us here today, and we will not forget, though we be far, far away.
Next, hear We the People over most of these same NBC stations.
Ladies and gentlemen, Colgate Dental Cream presents The Dennis Day Show, written by Frank Galen. With Dink Trout, Charles Dant of the orchestra, yours truly, Vern Smith, and starring our popular young singer in A Day in the Life of Dennis Day. Twice a day and before every date, use Colgate Dental Cream to clean your breath while you clean your teeth. Here's Dennis singing Linda.
When I
go to sleep, I never count sheep. I count all the charms about Linda. And lately it seems in all of my dreams I walk with my arms about Linda. Ah, what good does it do me? For Linda doesn't know I exist. Can't help feeling gloomy. Think of all the lovin' I've missed. We pass on the street, my heart skips a beat. I say to myself, hello, Linda. If only she'd smile, I'd stop her a while. Then I would get to know Linda. Ah, miracles still happen. And when my lucky star begins to shine, with one lucky break, I'll make Linda mine. Oh, miracles still happen. And when my lucky star begins to shine, with one lucky break, I'll make Linda mine.
Colgate Dental Cream cleans your breath while it cleans your teeth. No other toothpaste does a better job of cleaning your teeth than Colgate Dental Cream. For Colgate Dental Cream has a safe polishing agent that cleans your teeth both gently and thoroughly, brings out their natural sparkle and beauty. And scientific tests prove that Colgate Dental Cream cleans your breath while it cleans your teeth. Yes, actual scientific tests prove conclusively that in 7 out of 10 cases, Colgate Dental Cream instantly stops unpleasing breath that originates in the mouth. Colgate Dental Cream is famous for its wonderful wake-up flavor, too. Nationwide tests of leading toothpastes prove that Colgate Dental Cream is preferred for flavor over other brands tested. So try Colgate Dental Cream to bring out the natural sparkle and beauty of your teeth. For a wake-up flavor you'll thoroughly enjoy. And use Colgate Dental Cream twice a day and before every date to clean your breath while you clean your teeth. Well, just about the last person in the whole world you'd suspect of being up to something devilish is the husband of our young hero's landlady. Loyal, dutiful, steady, fearful Mr. Anderson. But his daughter Mildred has been far from satisfied with her father's behavior during the past week, and so this morning she's decided to broach the subject to her boyfriend, Dennis Day, in his room.
Dennis, what are you doing?
Oh, listening to the radio.
To the radio? Oh, I don't hear anything.
I know, Fred Allen's on.
Well, turn it off. I want to talk to you.
Okay.
Dennis, have you noticed anything odd or unusual about Dad lately?
Your dad? No, Mildred. Why?
Well, he's been acting strangely all week.
Gee, really?
He hasn't been near Mother for whole days at a time.
And besides that, he's been acting strangely, huh?
We hardly ever see him anymore. By dinner, he barely gets through the first course before he disappears somewhere. I don't understand it.
Me either. He certainly should be used to the food by now.
It isn't the food. My father's up to something.
Oh, gosh, you really think so?
I do. Dennis, you don't suppose... Oh, no. No, it's impossible.
Well, that's silly. Nothing is impossible. What were you thinking of?
Another woman.
Beg pardon, I was wrong.
Of course, it's utterly fantastic.
Ridiculous.
Still...
Yeah, it's spring, and you know what they say about young men and their fancy.
But Dad's not a young man, Dennis.
Well, sometimes even his type runs across something fancy.
It might be an affair d'amour?
Oh, I don't know whether she's French or not.
But you do think he might be interested in another woman. Oh, Dennis, I can't believe it.
Me either, really.
But, Dennis, we've simply got to know the truth.
Yeah.
If it's what we suspect, we might be able to break it up before Mother hears about it. Think what'll happen to her if she finds out about my father.
I wouldn't want to be in his shoes either.
Now, look. Daddy's in the next room. You're going in there and find out what he's up to.
You mean right now?
Yes, only for heaven's sakes, be tactful. If you're not subtle about it, he won't tell you a thing.
Okay, I'll kind of ease into it slowly. I can be pretty sly, you know.
Oh, good. I'll wait here for you. Go on now.
Morning, Mr. Anderson.
Morning, my boy.
What do you think of the Russian situation, Mr. Anderson?
The Russian situation? Why, it's pretty complicated.
Yeah, and do you know that half the population of Russia is women?
Naturally.
How's your love life lately?
My what?
Mr. Anderson, I'm going to put my cards right on the table. I suspect you of going out with another woman.
And Dennis, have you ever seen me with another woman?
No, sir.
No. Have you ever heard me mention another woman's name or seen me even look at another woman at any time?
No, sir.
Well, then?
Where are you hiding her?
I'm afraid we're discussing a pleasant impossibility. Now, believe me, it isn't so.
No? Then where do you rush off to every night after dinner?
To the public library.
Aha! Now we're getting somewhere. A beautiful librarian, huh?
Dennis, in the Weaverville Library, the only thing you'll find well stacked are the books.
Well, what do you do at the library, then?
Well, now, if you'll promise me to keep it a secret, I'll tell you.
Oh, sure. I promise.
All right. Now, I've been looking up some old newspaper files. You see, I've been writing a story.
A story?
That's right. I've already sent it to True Story magazine, and they want to publish it.
Gee, what's it called?
The Romance of Herbert Anderson.
Fiction, huh?
You have just put your finger on the horrible problem that I now find myself faced with. You see, True Story magazine positively insists that every word they print is the absolute truth.
Oh, and you didn't make your romance true?
No, I made it interesting. Now the magazine is sending a man here to authenticate my story before they publish it.
Well, can he find anything false? I mean, just what did you say?
Well, I described myself as a man of 50 with a desirable wife.
You're dead.
I could get by with that, but you see, as an added touch, I mentioned our children.
Oh, one daughter could hardly be considered children, huh?
Exactly.
Well, maybe you could say it was a little mistake that you lost count.
Well, hardly, because I described the other child in considerable detail. A boy, I said it was. A brilliant boy who less than a year ago had received his doctorate from Harvard.
Gee, you are in a mess. When will this fellow from True Story be here?
Well, this afternoon, according to the wire I got.
This afternoon? Gosh, even if Mrs. Anderson presented you with a son right now, he could never get through Harvard in time.
Well, not a hard school like Harvard, no.
Well, let's not give up yet, Mr. Anderson. There's got to be a way out of this thing somehow.
Oh, I hope so.
Now, don't you worry. I've got a brain and Mildred's got a brain, and between our two brains, she's sure to think of something.
So that's all it is.
Oh, I think your father's in pretty big trouble, Mildred.
Yes, but there's a way to get him out. That is, if you're willing.
I knew you'd think of an idea. What's this one? A state or a federal offense?
Well, it's very simple. Daddy has to produce a son for the man from True Story magazine. All right, you're the son.
Me? Mildred, this thing's got to be realistic.
But it is realistic. You're the right age, aren't you?
Yes.
Then you're the son he wrote about. A brilliant young man with a college degree.
It is here that I feel we are veering toward fantasy.
Nonsense. Now, look, you told me the boy was a doctor.
Yeah.
All right. You go down to Dr. Hopkins' office.
Huh?
I'll send the man from True Story there, and when he arrives, he finds you wearing Dr. Hopkins' coat and sitting at his desk.
He also finds Dr. Hopkins beating my brains out, doesn't he?
Oh, no, because Dr. Hopkins won't be there. Somebody's made him go out on an emergency.
Who?
You.
Oi.
All you have to do is tell the doctor someone's desperately ill. Pretend you're in a panic.
Oh, that I can handle easily.
Oh, good. And when the man from True Story gets there, you're the doctor, see?
But, Mildred, really,
you can do it. Forget right now about being a soda clerk and start thinking about your new career.
I am. Goodbye, Willoughby's drugstore. Hello, Alcatraz.
Come in.
Dr. Hopkins, Dr. Hopkins.
Yes, boy, what is it?
An emergency, Doctor. My sister.
Your sister?
Yeah, she's doubled up in agony. Her face has turned green, her teeth are falling out, and she's got a temperature of 109.
What?
Yeah, we think she's sick.
Good gracious. Has she been in this condition long?
Since January.
January? Why do you come to me now?
Well, today she started to complain. Could you go right away, Doctor?
Yeah, yes, of course. What's the address?
120 Cedar Road. It's out in the middle of the woods, 10 miles from here.
Good heavens. How could you have picked such an out-of-the-way spot?
It wasn't easy.
Gracious, I'd better call the hospital and have them drive me over in the ambulance.
An ambulance?
Of course, yes. The driver will find the place.
Doc, it's beautiful out. Why don't you walk?
Don't be a fool. I'll go over to the hospital and pick up the ambulance there. And you stay here and watch the office for me till I get back, understand?
Yes, sir. Gee, it worked like a charm. This must be one of my abnormal days. Oh, gosh, what do I do now? Maybe it's Mildred. Hello? Yes, this is Dr. Hopkins' office, but... What? Your wife is about to have a baby, and what should you do? Well, humor her, I guess. Let her have it. Mister, what a thing to say. You ought to have your phone ripped out.
Did you get rid of the doctor?
Yeah.
The man from True Story's on his way down the hall. Quick, put on that white coat and put the stethoscope around your neck. Hurry now.
Okay.
Oh, there he is. I'll sit behind the screen where he can't see me.
Come in.
How do? I'm Mr. Weems of True Story magazine. They told me I could find Mr. Anderson's son here.
Yes, I'm Mr. Anderson's son. Dennis Day is the name.
Dennis Day? Your father's name is Herbert Anderson and yours is Dennis Day?
Yeah, he didn't want people to call me Junior.
That explains your first name, but what about your last?
Well, Daddy's a fellow takes no chances at all.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I want to welcome you to my office and assure you that...
Your office?
Sure.
On the front door it says Dr. Hopkins. How come?
Let's let that one ride, shall we? I may think of something later.
Better come up with it now. I have a feeling I may not be here long.
Well, I just bought Dr. Hopkins' practice, and I haven't had time to take his name off the door yet. Hey, pretty good, huh?
Yes. But why did you buy a medical practice?
Oh, you know me, the man and wife. It says right in Dad's story that I got my doctorate a year ago.
Yes, but your doctorate wasn't an M.D. It was a law degree from Harvard Law School.
A law degree? You mean I'm a...
Try to guess.
A lawyer?
Good boy.
Yeah, of course I'm a lawyer. I was just having a little joke, that's all. Pretty funny, don't you think? You bet, yes, sir.
If you're a lawyer, why have you got on that white coat with a stethoscope around your neck?
Oh, that's easy. When I chase ambulances, I like to dress for it.
I see. And all this equipment? What would a lawyer want with an X-ray machine?
Oh, you'd be surprised how it turns up the hidden clauses in contracts.
And I suppose you use that examination table when you examine witnesses.
Yeah, it helps me weed out the habeas corpuses from the corpus delicti.
It's kind of fun, isn't it?
I hope so.
You don't expect me to swallow this, do you, Mr. Day?
I'd be terribly grateful.
Well, you do have some awfully novel ideas for a lawyer.
Yeah, they come when I least expect them.
You and Clarence Darrow, eh?
No, I like to work alone.
Who has a better right? Well, Mr. Day, True Story magazine, as you know, prints nothing but the truth. So until I can check on this matter elsewhere, I suggest you plead nolo contendere, so to speak.
Oh, I will. I'll plead just what you said.
You're not familiar with that common legal phrase?
I'm a Harvard man, Mr. Weems. We'd hardly learn common phrases there.
Yes, naturally. But you do understand Latin, of course.
Oh, of course. I'm simply Oderley with Attenley.
You are indeed loaded with something or other. Well, goodbye, Mr. Day. Let's not do it again real soon, shall we?
Dennis, is he gone?
Yeah. You know something, Mildred? I have a feeling he didn't believe a word I said.
I'm afraid you're right. But there's nothing we can do now but hope for the best. Don't lose confidence.
Oh, I won't. But just in case, when you get home tonight, would you bake me a cake with a file in it?
Oh, no, Dennis, you must.
Uh-oh, he's back again. Quick, behind the screen.
Okay.
Come in. Now, look, Mr. Weems,
Stand still, Doc. This ain't a water pistol I got in my hand. I need a doctor.
But...
You're coming with me, Doc. The boss needs you fast, and he needs you bad. A car just went past him, and now he's got 2 bullets in his stomach.
Gosh, I realize that drivers are always thinking up new things to do to pedestrians, but...
Come on, get your things on, Doc. I ain't fooling.
No, wait. You're making a mistake. I'm not a doctor.
No? Then what are you doing in this office with a white coat on and a stethoscope around your neck?
Oh, I was trying to convince someone that I was a lawyer. Sounds weak, huh?
Doc, I'm warning you for the last time. The boss needs someone to pick those bullets out of him.
And if I refuse?
You go anyway. Then you and the boss can pick the bullets out of each other.
I see what you mean. You're an excellent salesman.
Thank you. Now, are you coming?
Yes, sir. Only, what if I weren't a doctor?
I'd blow your brains out, mister.
Call me Doc.
Come on. We wasted enough time. Our hideout is the old Foster place on Pine Hill. Here's your little black bag. Now, come on, let's go.
Yes, sir.
Oh, Dennis, my poor darling. I've got to do something. But what? They're killing those horrible men. He'll be dead. And that fellow he takes the bullets out of, he won't do well either. Oh, I just got to do something. The Foster place on Pine Hill.
Well, here he is, Chief.
Oh, good work, Sam. Oh, Doc, you're just in time. These bullets went awful deep in my stomach.
They did?
Yeah, my head is split.
Boy, that is deep.
You better get right to work, Doc. I can't stand this pain much longer.
Look, mister, at the risk of my life, there's something I got to tell you.
Shut up, you, and get busy if you want to live. I'll take his pulse.
Huh?
You heard me. Take his pulse.
Really, I don't think we should remove it in his condition.
What are you talking about? All you got to do is feel it.
Oh.
Well, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and feel his pulse.
Yes, sir. If you'll find it, I'll be glad to feel it.
Oh, never mind the pulse, Doc. A blood count is more important anyway.
A blood count?
Yeah, go ahead. Take one.
Oh, I don't have to. I can tell without counting them that you have fewer than you used to.
You know something, boss? I think you're in trouble.
You're telling me. But the heat's on, Sam. We got to get out of here. Oh, go after those bullets, Doc.
I'll tell you what. Let's leave them in. A lot of iron and bullets, you know, and the system requires iron to...
A fine time to be making jokes. Go on, examine his stomachs and see if you can locate them slugs.
Okay. Steady now, Chief.
Ow!
Ticklish?
You fool! He can't stand that. Come on, give him an anesthetic.
An anesthetic?
Yeah, sure. You got something to put him to sleep, ain't you?
Well, I could read to him if you want me to.
Are you crazy? You must have brought some ether with you in that bag. Let me see. Yeah, sure. Here it is.
Gee, I'm glad I remembered.
Okay. Now I'll pour some on my handkerchief and give it to him. There, that ought to do it. All right now, Doc. You call for your instruments, and I'll hand them to you.
But I...
Call for your instruments.
Okay. Knife. Smelling salts.
You're going to give him smelling salts?
They're for me.
Well, see that you don't need them, understand? Now, what else do you need?
Forceps. Band-Aid.
Band-Aid?
Gotta leave him looking neat afterwards, don't we?
For crying out loud, Doc. Quit talking like a fool, will you, and start operating.
Really, mister, look...
Did you hear me?
Yes, sir, but I can't operate on this man. I'm not
Start operating.
Yes, sir.
Hey, what's that? Open up in there! Okay, you. Stand where you are and get your hands up. The cops.
Gee, just like David Harding, counter-spy.
Dennis, are you all right?
Mildred and Mr. Weems. Sure, I'm all right.
Well, what do you know? Sam McNulty and Scarface Fudnick. We've been wanting these boys a long time. Congratulations, Doc.
Well, so you've given up law and taken to medicine again, eh, Mr. Day?
Gee, Mr. Weems, I bet you think I'm flighty, don't you?
He knows you aren't a lawyer, Dennis, or even Daddy's son.
Yes, and of course we can't use Mr. Anderson's story.
Oh?
But it's quite possible that we can print the story of how you captured these gangsters single-handed.
Gosh, really?
Yes, only remember, Mr. Day, this is True Story Magazine. We want the plain truth and only the truth.
Oh, sure. Well, it was like this. I was all alone in the doctor's office when all of a sudden 10 men armed with Tommy guns and cutlasses jumped me. I fought like a demon and I was winning easily when all of a sudden one of them whips out an atom bomb. Well, naturally, I couldn't do much against that, so I waited my chance and then I went after the whole army of them. I hit one guy with a left, another with a right, and a third I
No, the story of how Dennis Day routed the gangsters will not be found in True Story magazine. But the story of Dennis's life, entitled Okay, I'll Talk, definitely is in the current issue. True Story magazine on sale at all newsstands.
Dennis Day will be back in just a moment with a song. But first, here's a fact worth knowing.
Colgate Dental Cream cleans your breath while it cleans your teeth.
And that's important, as our Colgate players are going to demonstrate for you. Our curtain goes up on a rain-soaked college boy who doesn't seem to know it's raining. Raining cats and dogs, in fact. A friend comes up and says,
"Come on, snap out of it, Tom. Don't you know enough to come in out of the rain?"
Well, what difference does it make, pal? I'm all wet anyway, according to Sal. She just read me a thunder and lightning act that was a beaut.
Oh, so your sugar left you standing in the rain, did she?
That's about it. But when it comes to telling me why, well, Sal's the original Miss Clam.
Well, rain in the face, I'll tell you something. What you want to do is make a dash for your dentist, Tom.
And here's what Tom found out. Scientific tests have proved that in 7 out of 10 cases, Colgate Dental Cream instantly stops unpleasing breath that originates in the mouth. What's more, Colgate Dental Cream's safe polishing agent brings out the natural sparkle of your teeth, cleans them thoroughly and safely.
Yes, Colgate Dental Cream cleans your breath while it cleans your teeth.
And Colgate Dental Cream is famous for its wonderful wake-up flavor, too. In fact, nationwide tests of leading toothpastes prove that Colgate Dental Cream is preferred for flavor over other brands tested.
So, to clean your teeth thoroughly and safely, for a wake-up flavor everyone enjoys, use Colgate Dental Cream. Remember, Colgate Dental Cream cleans your breath while it cleans your teeth. With Charles Dant and the orchestra, here's Dennis to sing the current favorite, I Want to Thank Your Folks.
I express how I feel, confess and reveal what a swell job they've done of raising the one I love. Do you recall the birthday party they gave you when we were just a couple of kids? Well, suppose they hadn't thought of inviting me to see what I have missed. And here's my thanks to you for making all my love dreams come true. But, darling, to be perfectly frank, I really must thank your phone. Do you recall the birthday party they gave you when we were just a couple of kids? Well, suppose they hadn't thought of inviting me to see what I have missed. And here's my thanks to you for making all my love dreams come true. But, darling, to be perfectly frank, I really must thank your
Dennis Day can be heard with Jack Benny every Sunday. And be sure and be with us again next week for another Dennis Day program. More songs, more adventures in the life of our star, Dennis Day. Meanwhile, be sure to use Colgate Dental Cream to clean your breath while you clean your teeth.
Lovely Joan Bennett is another famous Hollywood star to rave over Cashmere Bouquet Beau Cake, the new cake makeup sensation. Joan Bennett says, I'm wild over Cashmere Bouquet Beau Cake. So clever, so practical, with a makeup sponge in its own moisture-proof compartment right in the compact. Yes, Cashmere Bouquet Beau Cake, for the first time, brings you the makeup sponge right inside the case. Buy the new cake makeup sensation, Cashmere Bouquet Beau Cake, at cosmetic counters today.
Ladies, keep right on saving used pants and oils. Turn them into your dealer and he'll pay you more for your used pants and oils. Mrs. Burns-Smith reminding you that daylight saving time becomes effective in certain areas on April 27th. This may change the time at which the Dennis Day program is heard in your community. Please check your local paper for the time at which this program will be heard next week and each week thereafter.
This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.
From Hollywood, Colgate Tooth Powder for a breath that's sweet and teeth that sparkle presents the Mel Blanc Show.
My lawnmower needs sharpening. I've got to take it to Mel Blanc's Fix-It Shop.
My wife's percolator top is cracked. I've got to take it to Mel Blanc's Fix-It Shop.
Oh, my stocking has a run in it. I've got to take it to Mel Blanc's Fix-It Shop.
My wife's going to have a baby. I got to take her to to the hospital. Colgate Tooth Powder for a breath that's sweet and teeth that sparkle brings you the Mel Blanc Show with Mary Jane Croft, Earl Ross, Joe Kern, Snooky, Victor Miller and his orchestra, and as the star in his own Fix-It shop, Mel Blanc. Now let's
drop in at Mel Blanc's Fix-It Shop. You know, Mel is one of those fellows who'll tackle any odd job and make it come out even. But it's an even bet that when he's through, the odds will be against him. You'll see just what I mean as soon as you listen to Mel talking things over with his girlfriend, Betty.
Gee, honey, your father's going to be proud of me when he sees how I fixed up everything for the company picnic tomorrow. The tables, the chairs, the barbecue.
Yes, Mel.
Yeah, but I keep remembering last year's picnic. You and I stayed after everybody left.
Uh-huh. You slipped your arm around my waist. I slipped my arm around your waist.
Yeah. And then we both puckered up and
Yeah.
we blew out the fire together.
Oh, silly. But really, tomorrow's picnic means a great deal to Father.
Well, what's so special about it?
Well, this year, Lionel Owens, the district manager of Supermarkets Incorporated, is guest of honor.
Oh, that's nice. But you and I will be together all day.
Now, listen. Huh? You see, Daddy has an idea Mr. Owens may promote him to be assistant district manager.
Gee, that'd be nice for your father. Hey, look, honey, tomorrow, let's you and I take a rowboat.
Now, I'm trying to tell you something.
Huh?
Lionel Owens is very important to Daddy. And I have to be with him most of the day, make things pleasant for Mr. Owens at the picnic.
Oh, I get it.
We just want to help Daddy in any way we can, you know.
I know, and I'm trying my best. Look at this banner I painted to welcome Mr. Owens. Wait till I read it to you. The employees of Supermarket Incorporated Number 12 welcome Lionel Owens, Big Ham.
No!
Big Ham and Shrimp Barbecue. Guess I put the comma in the wrong place.
Honey, you don't really mind about Mr. Owens and me tomorrow, do you?
Well, I had it all planned to be with you.
I know, but what about Father?
Let him get his own girl.
Darling, if Mr. Owens has a good time at the picnic tomorrow, there may be a promotion in it for Daddy. Remember, Mr. Owens is pretty important.
Yeah, he must be. Your father came here this morning just to tell me that Mr. Owens is a big success in business. Not like some other people he knows.
Oh, Mel.
And he told me Mr. Owens was a big athlete in college, all-American, a real man. Not like some people he knows. He said Lionel Owens is the kind of a man any father would be proud to have for a son-in-law. Not like some other people he knows. I wonder who all those people are your father knows.
Mel, you know Lionel Owens couldn't possibly mean a thing to me. You're just as big a success as he is any day. You know it and I know it.
Yeah, too bad it's just a secret between you and me.
Well, honey, anyway, tomorrow, remember, I'm spending the day with Mr. Owens to please Father. It's strictly a business deal.
Yeah, and I'm getting the business. Oh, hello, Mr. Colby. Yes, it is a nice day, isn't it?
Melvin, I'm a little worried about the picnic tomorrow.
Oh, there's nothing to worry about. Uncle Rupert, Zuki, and I fixed everything. The chairs, the barbecue, the banner for Mr. Owens.
Mr. Owens, I'm worried about. He has an idea. He's just as good an athlete as the day he left college. He thinks he's as strong as an ox.
Well, gee, Mr. Colby, he ought to enjoy showing off on those two strength testers. You know those 2 muscle meters we rented from the amusement park?
Yes, he'll be tickled pink if he wins. But if by some freak he loses, I'll never get that job as assistant district manager.
Well, then you have to find somebody who'll compete against Mr. Owens. Somebody who'll be sure to lose.
Yes, what we need is a little weakling, a surefire pushover.
That's right.
I know just the man, but I don't know whether or not he'd do it.
Oh, Mr. Colby, anybody who'd refuse to help you in a situation like this is
That's all I wanted to know. Then I'll ask him.
What's his name?
Mel Blanc.
Mel Blanc. Me? Oh, hey, Mr. Colby, I'm no athlete.
Exactly. You get the idea.
Oh, no. I posed for one of those health ads. You know those before and after pictures?
Which one were you, before or after?
Neither. I was heaven forbid.
Oh, but it's wonderful. You know, I can just see it now. Lionel Owens takes the mallet, swings at the muscle meter, up goes the whatchamacallit, hits the thingamajig, and the bell rings.
Yeah.
1,000, the meter reads Superman.
Gee, and Mr. Owens wasn't even trying.
And then comes your turn.
Yeah.
You step up, swing the mallet down with all your might, the thingamabob flies up and up and up and up.
What does the meter read for me?
100, Mickey Mouse.
Oh, but Mr. Colby, what will Betty think of me?
Now, we won't say a word about this to anyone, understand? I knew I could count on you, son. Oh, now I must get down to the station and pick up Mr. Owens.
Must you?
In fact, I think I'll bring him here first, just to let him see what kind of competition he'll be up against tomorrow.
Well, I heard a cutthroat competition, but why must it be my throat?
it true what Father told me? You're going to compete against Mr. Owens tomorrow?
Yeah, on the muscle meter, but
Oh, darling, I'm so proud of you.
maybe you better wait till tomorrow.
Now, this is what I've been waiting for. You taking this way to show Daddy you're not spineless, that you've got a lion's heart and a quick eye.
Gosh, wouldn't it be easier if he just gave me a physical?
Oh, darling, I just know you're going to win. Oh, look, here comes Father, Mr. Owens, now.
Morning, Mr. Owens. I want you to meet Bearcat Blank, the strongest man in town.
I'd be delighted to. Hello.
Hello.
Oh, yes, and this is my daughter, Betty.
Hello, Mr. Owens.
Well. I've looked forward to meeting you. It's my pleasure.
It's my girl.
Now, Mel, aren't you going to shake hands with Mr. Owens?
That's right. Put her there, Bearcat. Oh! What's the matter?
Oh, nothing. I never use that hand much anyway.
Say, I hear you're quite a fella in the muscle department. Good. I want some real competition. Here, feel some real muscles. Well, go on, feel.
Gee, they are real, aren't they?
You know where I got these?
Eastern Columbia, Broadway at 9.
Back in my college days, I used to get up every morning and chop up 6 cords of wood for breakfast. Boy, was that good.
I like Wheaties much better.
Smell a card, Mr. Owens. Well, we'd better be going. Come on. Good to know you, Blank. Put her there.
Oh, I'd rather not. I might hurt your other hand.
Goodbye, Mel. You coming, Father?
I'll be right with you. Now, look, Melvin, it's all understood then, huh?
I guess so.
Owens wins, you lose. If Owens doesn't get a chance to show off those muscles of his tomorrow, he's going to be feeling real awfully bad. And if he feels bad, I'll feel bad. And, well, you know what that means.
Yeah, I'll feel worse.
Zookie, my lad, installing these ridiculous muscle meters has me completely fatigued.
Yeah, I'm all to be tired. Ow. I'm all beat. I'm exhausted. I feel swell.
That supermarket super athlete Owens will give Mel an awful trouncing tomorrow. How does Mel expect to win? He ought to wise up to himself.
Yeah, Mel ought to get next to himself when it comes to meat muscle. He ought to get next to himself when it comes to. He ought to get next to himself when he could meet more nice people that way.
But listen, Zookie, Mel is not going to lose. I have a plan.
Yeah.
Zookie, we're going to loosen the spring in this red machine so that no matter how hard this Owens fellow hits it, it won't register over 200. Understand?
Yeah.
And then we're going to tighten the spring on this blue machine so that when Melvin brings his puny mallet down, the bell on top will resound for hours. Get it?
Oh, it's no. How can you tell which muscle meter, which guy is supposed, whether Mel can, how?
Don't you worry, Zookie. I'll see that Mel works only on the blue machine. I've taken care of that. Honest Uncle Rupert had himself appointed referee.
You did?
Yes, my lad. Melvin just can't lose.
Colgate tooth powder, keep smiling just right. Use it each morning and use it each night.
Don't take a chance with your romance.
Use Colgate tooth powder.
A breath of trouble makes no detour. It strikes the rich as well as the poor. Perhaps that little breath of trouble, unpleasing breath, has even caught up with you. Be on your guard. Do this. Brush your teeth night and morning and before every date with Colgate tooth powder. For Colgate tooth powder cleans your breath as it cleans your teeth. Yes, scientific tests have definitely proved that in 7 cases out of 10, Colgate tooth powder instantly stops unpleasing breath that originates in the mouth. What's more, no dentifrice at any price cleans your teeth more quickly and thoroughly than Colgate tooth powder. Remember to buy it first thing. And remember the name, Colgate Tooth Powder, with the accent on powder.
Don't take a chance with your romance.
Use Colgate Tooth Powder.
Well, our Mr. Fix-It, Mel Blanc, is really in a fix. Mel has promised to lose to Lionel Owens in a contest of strength on the muscle meter. But Uncle Rupert and Zookie, who know nothing of Mel's promise, have fixed it so that Mel can't lose. Well, we find Mel and Betty at the picnic grounds now, but you can bet that before the day's over, it'll be anything but a picnic for our hero.
Hey, look, Betty. Suppose I don't show up so well against Mr. Owens. Would it matter very much to you?
Oh, of course not. I know you're going to do your best against him in this contest. And when it's all over, you'll feel like a new man.
Yeah, and whoever I feel like will be an improvement.
Honey, don't talk like that. I know you're going to win today.
How can you be so sure?
Well, I love you, don't I?
That's logical.
Be serious, darling. What's the matter with you?
Oh, I don't know. I just don't have the ambition to amount to anything.
Now, that's silly.
I don't have the personality to amount to anything.
That's not true.
And I don't have the brains to amount to anything. Well, there's a fine time to stop arguing with me.
Oh, darling. Well, now, listen, I really must get back to Mr. Owens. Say, do you know what that big windbag said?
What, honey?
He said he can tear a telephone book in half. Isn't that funny?
Can he?
Yes, he tore one in half for me.
Oh.
A Chicago directory, too.
Oh. Well, I can tear a telephone book in half, too.
You can now?
Yeah, if it's one from Ghost Town, Arizona.
Well, goodbye, honey.
Bye.
Don't forget I'm with you.
Thanks, honey. Oh, this is fine. If I win, I lose. If I lose, I win. Well, at least you can't say I'm not getting an even break.
Zookie, oh, Zookie.
Yes, Uncle Rupert. Hi, Rupe.
Are you sure you fixed those muscle meters so that Melvin can't lose?
Oh, yeah, everything is everything is okay. Check.
What took you so long?
I ran into Dr. Crab.
Dr. Crab, that dog doctor. What's he doing here at the picnic?
Well, he wants to see you.
Here he comes now. I'll talk to him. Zookie, you get back and watch those machines.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, hello, Christopher. How's the good dog doctor today?
Consultant veterinarian, if you don't mind.
What's the matter with you?
Nothing's the matter with me. Just got a catch in my throat. Could I have a pan of water?
Say, Christopher, do you realize you hang around dog kennels so much? You're beginning to sound like a dog?
You're very kind. Thank you.
Christopher, I'm in a hurry. I have to referee a contest of strength between Melvin and Mr. Owens.
Oh, I wish you'd introduce me to Mr. Owens. I want to ask him to market my special dog food. It's called Dr. Crab's Doggy Dinner.
How does it taste?
Oh, delicious.
Okay, Christopher. I'll tell Mr. Owens.
Thanks. I'd have told him myself, but I couldn't get to him for all those wild kids here at the picnic.
Oh, come now, Christopher. You must have been pretty wild yourself when you were a pup.
Oh, no. I lived a very sheltered childhood. In fact, I was kept on a leash. My mother saw to that.
Your mother? What about your father?
Who do you think was on the other leash?
Oh, go away. Go away. I've wasted enough time already.
I'll go. Goodbye, Rupert. Remember, don't put a dash hund in a revolving door. He's much too long, my friend. He'll only catch up with himself and say, "Brother, this is the end."
Ladies and gentlemen of supermarket number 12, you're about to witness a contest of strength and skill between your esteemed district manager, this mass of muscles, Lionel Owens.
Thank you very much. Here in my hand you see a Chicago telephone directory. Watch closely.
Wish he'd stop tearing up those telephone books.
And his opponent, that grand boy, that magnificent specimen of manhood, proprietor of our local fix-it shop, Mel Blanc.
Hooray!
Thank you, Miss Colby. And now, Mr. Owens, step right up to your muscle meter. No, not that one. Right here. The red one.
Anything you say.
Now, gentlemen, the first one to ring the bell will be the winner. You have 3 tries. You're first, Mr. Owens. Go ahead.
Okay. Stand back, everybody. This is going to be a cinch. 1,000 the first time. 100?
100 on the muscle meter. Good for you, Mr. Owens. The meter reads, weak as a kitten, drink more milk.
Hey, wait a minute. Wait till I take another swing at this. I'll break it in half.
150 and the meter reads, top of the mark, if you're a grandmother.
I don't understand it. Wait, everybody, get further back. Spread out.
Back to 100, and the meter again reads, weak as a kitten.
Oh, no, it can't be. I'm through.
Hopefully we won't hit 75.
That's right, Mel. You won't hit that high, will you?
Me, Mr. Colby? Why?
Right here, Melvin, the blue muscle meter. Step right up, my boy.
Go ahead, darling. You show him.
Okay. Well, here goes, everybody. Did somebody hear something?
1,000 on the muscle meter, and the meter reads, Superman.
That's wonderful, Melon, with only one hand.
Yeah, my left hand, too.
Mel Blanc, I want to talk to you.
Oh, Mr. Colby, honest, I just...
talk to you.
I can't now. I'll see you later. I got to get a candy bar, for energy.
Melvin, the boy, wait for Uncle.
Mr. Colby? Yes, Mr. Owens. I want to talk to you. Alone. Now, look, Mr. Owens, you weren't informed. Everybody has an off day. No, Colby, let's face it. I'm slipping. I've been working too hard as district manager. The old fire is gone. Fire? Oh, you mean the fire's gone. Yes, Colby. When I got out of college, I promised myself that the moment I started losing my grip, I'd give up work completely and build myself up again. You don't say. Now you can help me, Colby. You've got to take my place as district manager. Me? District manager? No, I know it'll take a toll of your strength as it did me, but you won't let me down, will you? Will you accept? Will I? I will.
Uncle Rupert, let me get this straight. You say you and Zuki fixed those muscle meters so I couldn't help winning?
Exactly, my lad. No job too big for the fix-it shop. Now, are you pleased with your old uncle?
Oh, but you don't understand. The only reason Mr. Colby entered me against Owens was for me to lose. I promised to lose.
Lose?
Mr. Colby will kill me. He'll lose his job. Oh, what a mess.
Oh, I'm sorry, Melvin.
Hey, wait, maybe it's not too late. I hope I can straighten this out before Mr. Colby gets fired. Say, Mr. Owens.
Yes?
Say, what do you say you take another crack at the muscle meter, huh?
It's no use, Mr. Blanc. I just haven't got it in me.
Melvin, can't you see that Mr. Owens is tired? Very tired.
Oh, come on, Mr. Owens. Just one more try. You can do better than grandmother.
No, thanks. I've been embarrassed enough for one day.
Melvin, let's just let things stand the way they are, shall we? Shall we?
Oh, Mr. Owens, please. Here, take this mallet. Step up to the blue muscle meter. Please, go on. Try it, please.
Well, okay, but it's really no use.
You see, 1,000, Mr. Owens. You're a... Yeah, I'm Superman. I'm Superman! Whoa!
Well, that's more like it. I'm my old self again. Mr. Colby. Where's Mr. Colby? Here I am, sir. Oh, I thought I was through, Mr. Colby, but Mel here changed my mind.
Yeah, didn't I?
Well, I won't be needing anybody to replace me, Colby. I guess I'm still right there on the beam, thanks to Mel here. See you later, everybody.
Oh, Daddy, aren't you proud of Mel? Daddy, put down that mouse!
We'll be back in a moment with a Zookieism. What's a Zookieism? Wait and see.
Use Colgate tooth powder, keep smiling just right. Use it each morning and use it each night.
Don't take a chance with your romance.
Use Colgate tooth powder.
You know, not even a loving wife can bring herself to mention a little breath of trouble, unpleasing breath, to her husband. Don't let that breath of trouble hurt your happy marriage. Be sure to do this. Brush your teeth night and morning and before every date with Colgate tooth powder. For Colgate tooth powder cleans your breath as it cleans your teeth. Yes, scientific tests have definitely proved that in 7 cases out of 10, Colgate tooth powder instantly stops unpleasing breath that originates in the mouth. What's more, no dentifrice at any price cleans your teeth more quickly and thoroughly than Colgate tooth powder. Remember to buy it first thing. And remember the name, Colgate tooth powder, with the accent on powder.
Don't take a chance with your romance.
Use Colgate tooth powder.
Zuki, I hope you learned something about competition from today's picnic.
Yes, Zuki. Everything in life has a moral. What did you learn?
Well, I learned that to win, you gotta put your shoulder to the to win, you gotta put your nose to the grunt. To win, you gotta be a good loser.
This is Bud Houston reminding you that Colgate tooth powder for a breath that's sweet and teeth and sparkle brings you the Mel Blanc Show every Tuesday at this time. Be sure to join us again next Tuesday night for more fun with Mel and the people you'll meet in Mel Blanc's Fix-It Shop.
Say hello to Halo Shampoo for naturally bright and beautiful hair. Remember, even finest soaps and soap shampoos hide the natural luster of your hair with dulling soap film. But Halo Shampoo contains no soap, therefore leaves no dulling soap film. Even in hardest water, Halo makes oceans of rich, fragrant lather, quickly banishes loose dandruff and dirt. Halo needs no lemon or vinegar rinse. Say hello to Halo and goodbye to dulling soap film. Get Halo Shampoo at any cosmetic counter.
The Mel Blanc Show was written by David Victor and Herb Little, Jr. and was produced and directed by Joe Rhines. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Replacing the Red Skelton Show, usually heard at this hour, here's a special rebroadcast of the American Armed Forces and their allies, featuring another of America's favorite comedians, Fred Allen. And with him tonight is Portland Hoffa, Hilo, Jack and a Dame, Al Goodman in the orchestra, and as guest star, Jimmy Durante. And here he is, Fred Allen.
Thank you, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And, Jimmy, that extra coffee people are going to get this year will sure be a boon to radio.
How do you mean, Fred?
Why, with more coffee, people will be able to stay awake during those Jack Benny programs now.
Do people really doze off listening to Jack?
Doze off? Why, Maisie doze and Dozy doze. Everybody doze off, Jimmy. They say that sheep with insomnia count little bennies, Jimmy. Barnyard connoisseurs have told me off the record that. But with this extra coffee, I hear they're inventing a new radio just to listen to the Benny program. It's a combination radio and percolator, Jimmy. It works except when the program is on. Now, if you really want to get at...
Mr. Allen!
Well, Portland, Jesus. Well, Portland, what's new tonight?
Nothing, except what's in the papers.
Well, I've been reading the papers, too. I read mostly from right to left.
The paper said that peroxide is scarce and blondes are disappearing.
Oh, yes, a blonde can establish a bleach head, but without peroxide, she can't hold it. You have to... Well, Portland, we better, before we find out just how much they will stand for, we had better... Right here, laughing at something we hope to have next week, are you? Portland, we had better run for Allen's Alley.
Have you a question for tonight?
Our question tonight is, how did the fish shortage bother you?
Shall we go?
As the piece of string said to the finger, why not? I should have brought my chair with me. Portland, here we are back in Allen's Alley. I'll see if Senator Bloat is there.
Yes.
Senator Bloat, what about the fish problem?
If my bill, the bloat bill, goes through,
Yes.
this country will never have another fish shortage.
Well, what does your bill advocate?
Every person who's doing nothing to help the war effort will be given a fishing line and some bait.
Yes?
The fishing lines will be thrown into the water.
When every person who is doing nothing to help the war effort has his line in the water...
With all these jerks, we'll soon have enough fish to feed America. I think so.
Well, I think the Senate... It's hardly worth the trouble, was it, Senator? From telling those kind of jokes, the Senator's starting to get whiskers on himself there. Well, I think the Senator has something there, and I hope he returns to clean it up. Now, let's see how Mrs. Prawn is doing.
Well, what is it?
Mrs. Prawn, is anyone alive on this program? We might be the annex to the Smithsonian Institute or come to life here. Mrs. Prawn, did the fish shortage bother you?
No. Every day I sent my husband over to the aquarium.
I see.
In no time, he was back with a mess of fish.
Say, that was a good idea.
Yes. Anytime you want fish, send the worms.
Well, we take leave of Mrs. Prawn and see who's in next door here.
No.
Mr. Nussbaum, how do you feel about this fish business?
Oh, fish I'm eating morning, noon, and night. White fish, blue fish, red fish.
What red fish?
Salmon is purple, maybe. Also, I'm eating flambels, keeper, sardines.
In other words... In other words, you were crazy about fish.
Oh-ho.
Ship-oh-ho, I should take it.
Besides eating, also I'm keeping in a goldfish bowl at Sturgeon. Irving by name.
Irving was your pet sturgeon?
My little finny pal.
You liked Irving, huh?
Oh, when I'm coming home, Irving is leaping in the goldfish bowl for joy.
Really?
With the things he's waving on me.
Gosh.
The caviar Irving is spelling out, oh, Lord, my border.
You were inseparable.
Until it's coming the fish shortage.
Well, what happened?
Suddenly there's no fish. For 2 weeks I'm not eating fish. I'm going shark raving mad.
You were fish famished, eh?
Every night I'm coming home, I'm looking on Irving.
Your sturgeon was still glad to see you?
With caviar, Irving is still spelling out, hello, my brother.
And then?
One night Irving was gone. The goldfish bowl was empty.
Mr. Nussbaum, you mean?
The cream cheese, Irving, was delicious, don't you?
That brings us to the little weed-covered cottage at the end of the alley.
Bonsoir all, s'il vous plaît. Falstaff's here with Rondelay.
You haven't more poems tonight.
Indubitably. Have you heard he was just a little pigeon, and yet he had religion?
No.
Or when his antlers caught in the chandelier, The big butt deer said Bayesmere?
No.
The stork had come. The doctor used penicillin. 2 minutes later, the baby was whistling.
Falstaff, you have upset everything. Tonight we have been mulling over the fish shortage.
Precisely why I am here. I have spawned a scancier.
You have... What is your poem called?
The Whale Called a Meeting.
Well, how does it go?
The big bull whale said a meeting I decree, and he blew a spout that shook the sea. The fish came in schools, the porpoise and seals, the flying fish flew, crabs hitchhiked on eels. The minnows scurried, the haddock and sturgeon joined the tuna and cod who needed no urging. When all were assembled, from jellyfish to trout, the whale said, here's what this meeting's about. Fish can't fight Hitler with guns or with powder, but we can give our lives for fish dinners and chowder. Fish are like soldiers, for news we all pine. So to keep us both happy, please, drop us a line.
Thank you, Falstaff. And as Falstaff leaves for the Fulton Fish Market to get another inspiration, Maestro Al Goodman rises to welcome Hilo, Jack, and the Dame. The kids sing Narzy Dote.
I know a dairy, nutty as a fruitcake, goofy as a goon, and silly as a loon. Some call it pretty, others call it crazy, but they all sing this tune. Narzy dote and dozy dote, and little Nancy-Davy, a diddly-davy through wood and dew. Yes, narzy dote and dozy dote, and little Nancy-Davy, a diddly-davy through wood and dew. If the words sound queer and funny to your ear, a little bit jumbled and jazzy, sing Narzy folks and dozy folks and little Nancy-Davy. Oh, Narzy dote and dozy dote, and little Nancy-Davy, a diddly-davy too, wouldn't you? A diddly-davy too, wouldn't you? It's the kind of a game with words like nothing you ever heard. If you're running together, it won't matter whether they ride. If you take some time, Nancy-Pie and Nancy-Pie, I'll properly pass me through. Wouldn't you? And sailsy heels and whalesy heels. A swaddly oyster too, but not if it's in a stew. A pumpily tappy, a yappily dunner, a pimply tunnely too. Wouldn't you? Me too.
That was just a dash of Take It Easy, played by Al Goodman, and 25 men whose salaries can't be frozen. They work for salt. And now, ladies and gentlemen... Pour the way. What is that la-da-da-ding? You sound like a Neil wind blowing through Lower Basin Street.
The Skater's Waltz.
Oh.
Mama and I saw Sonia Honey yesterday.
Oh, does your mother like skating?
I'll say. Mama can do a figure eight.
Your mother doesn't have to do a figure eight. She has one. Your mother looks like a duffel bag that came to life. Your mother on ice.
Mama said you should be very good on ice, too.
Why?
Mama said there are so many cheapskates in your family.
Now, look, Portland, I'm tired tonight. I have had a lot of trouble this past week.
Trouble?
Yes, there's a housing shortage, you know. The other night, I was sitting home, a strange man knocked at my door, said he'd been walking all over New York trying to find a room. He couldn't find a place to sleep. It was a cold night, so I gave him a drink and let him sleep on my sofa. The next morning, when I got up, the stranger was gone, and he left $3 on the table for room rent.
You didn't know the man?
I didn't know the man at all. I felt terrible accepting money for a favor. I looked for the fellow all day to give him his $3 back, and that night I was depressed. Well, I decided to call on the only man who can cheer me up when I'm depressed, so I went over to that nightclub, the Copacabana. I knocked on this gentleman's dressing room door.
Well, if it ain't my old pal,
Jimmy Durante. Well... Say, this is a pretty dressing room you have here, Jimmy.
Yeah, I had an inferior decorator do the job. The same guy who did Lindy's.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Instead of having roses on the wallpaper, he's got meatballs.
It's a pretty shade.
Yeah. It's a gravy pastel.
Gravy.
I was just taking a gander at my fan mail, Fred.
Oh, your fan mail? What is that postcard?
It's a vitamin ad. I'm through with vitamins.
Well, why?
I seen an ad. A certain vitamin capsule will grow hair. That's what it said.
Uh-huh.
I tried them for 2 months. I'm as bald as any part of a grapefruit.
You took these capsules every day?
I was putting them on top of my head.
Well, you're supposed to take them, Jimmy.
Now he tells me.
Say, Jimmy, I saw your picture on the cover of Time this week.
Yeah, they wanted to put my picture on the Reader's Digest. I turned them down.
Why?
People would think Durante was a midget.
Say, what is that stack of paper you have there, Jimmy?
These are some jokes my writers left me. Get this one. My girl never wears liquid stockings because she can't get her leg in the bottle. It's no good, Fred.
Well, why not, Jimmy?
My girl can. You know, my girl's got legs like a pipe cleaner.
That thin?
That fuzzy.
What is that other slip? Another joke you have there?
Yeah, this one is a Lulu. Wait till you hear it.
Uh-huh.
They're making a new picture of the life of Abraham Lincoln. It's called Massey, Come Home.
Massey, come home, eh?
What's the matter, Fred? You ain't laughing. You're letting Durante down.
Well, I'm worried, Jimmy.
Listen, if you're worried about the future, Fred, I know a gypsy who's open all night.
No, Jimmy, I'm not worried. I just have a little problem. You see, the other night I let a stranger sleep in my place. It was cold. I gave him a drink. The next morning I get up, the fellow was gone. He left $3 on the table, and I sort of feel guilty keeping the $3. I've looked around. I can't find the guy.
Stop worrying, will you, Fred? There's only one thing to do with that $3.
What?
Buy war bonds with it. There's a friend of mine down at the Federal Building, Mr. Umbriago. Umbriago sells war bonds.
Well, maybe that's what I'll do.
The show's starting, Mr. Durante. You're on. I got to do my number, Fred. I'll leave the door open so you can hear it in here.
Okay, Jimmy.
Thank you, and thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to dedicate this number to that whack who blew me a kiss in the lobby of the Martha Washington Hotel last night. Let's go, Professor. Now, once upon a time, they sang the Bodie-O-Yo, but that was long ago. Then everybody started into boop-boop-a-doo. They got tired of that, you know. I'll give you $50. You show me bloop-bloop in the music. Show me bloop-bloop in the music. Too bad I can't read. But the tune for you and me. Very unnecessary. Is that swingy symphony they call it? A-ding-a-ding, a-ding-a-ding. Let me hear that man. What up there? A-ding-a-ding. Let me hear it again. You know, I was walking down Fifth Avenue, and I happened to stop into a fruiterer. I bought 2 apples. You know, the clerk thought he knew a hit when he sold them. He said those apples will cost you $2 apiece. So I gave him a $5 bill. As he was about to give me my dollar change, I said, keep it, we're even. I stepped in a grape coming in. Let me hear that band. Holla! What a band that Goodman has got. Let me hear it. Let me hear it. You know, last night I walked into the automat, and I put a lead nickel in the slot. And what do you think came out? The manager. Let me hear it, boys.
Well, Portland, when Jimmy finished his song at the Copacabana, we made an appointment to meet the next day and buy wall stamps with my $3. Well, I got to the Federal Building first. I was waiting in the lobby when Jimmy rushed in.
Sorry I'm late, Fred. There was a pickpocket with no arms in the subway. He got his head caught in my pocket.
Put the bite on you, huh? Well, all right, Jimmy. All right, Jimmy. Let's get my stamps. This window here says War Savings Stamp.
I'll see if Umbriago is behind the window. Hello, in there?
Anything I can do for you, gentlemen? Yes, I'd like to buy $3 worth of...
Wait a minute. This guy ain't Umbriago.
Well, what's the difference,
I
Jimmy?
promised Umbriago, Fred. He's got to make his quota. Besides, if you're a friend of mine, Umbriago will lick the stamps for you.
Well, my delicatessen licks war stamps for me, Jimmy. They keep a wet tongue on the counter.
Gentlemen, will you hurry and buy your stamps? I've got to get back to my book.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm halfway up. A tree grows in Brooklyn.
Oh.
Just a minute, copperhead. Do you realize the gesture my friend is making?
Now, Jimmy, don't bother.
This man rented a room to a stranger for $3. Did he take this money and squander it on wine, women, and jukeboxes? No. He's here to put it where every penny should go. Into war bonds and stamps.
Now, please, Jimmy, quiet. Just get my stamps. $3 worth, mister.
Before I tear them off, one thing.
Yes?
Did this gentleman say you rented a room?
Well, I didn't exactly rent the room.
No, the guy knocked on Mr. Allen's door.
Yes.
I see. Will you both step into this next office, please? Mr. Brownlee.
Yes. What is it, Heseltine?
2 suspects.
Suspects? What is this?
Mr. Brownlee is in charge of the OPA office on rent ceilings.
Rent ceiling?
Quiet, you. What's the charge, Heseltine?
The big one rented a room for $3. He was going to buy war stamps with the money. Then the little one with the cucumber nose started shooting off his bazoo.
That's a lie. I deny the allegation and I defy the alligator. If Umbriago was here, I'd serve the 2 years with reprievance.
Now, Jimmy.
I know what I'm talking about, Fred.
Don't lose your head.
I could lose my head and still have more brains than both of these 2 guys.
Quiet, you. Now, you, the big one. How long have you been operating your rooming house?
What rooming house, Jimmy? Tell this bird.
Mr. Allen ain't got no rooming house. He ain't posing as no bunny face.
No.
No bunny face? There's a housing shortage. Mr. Allen gave this poor homeless wafer a bed for the night. The wafer left him $3.
Mr. Allen, how much were you renting that room for on April 15th, 1943, when Wentz proposing?
Well, nothing.
Today you rent it for $3. $3 over the ceiling price. A flagrant violation of the OPA laws.
A flagrant violation? Jimmy, call my lawyer, Solinger and Solinger.
Who needs Solinger and Solinger, Fred? When Umbriago gets here, he'll heave this bum out on the street. A flagrant violation, he says. I'm laughing happily.
Now, look, Mr. Brownlee.
Don't talk to me, you dirty wartime profiteer. You made $3 profit on that room.
How could he make $3, swollen belly? It was a cold night. Allen gave the guy a drink of liquor. With the price of liquor what it is today, Allen must have lost money.
Liquor, huh? You have a license to sell liquor?
Well, no.
This isn't the case for the OPA. This is the case for the alcohol squad.
The alcohol squad?
You heard me. Follow me.
Oh, Jimmy, if you hadn't mentioned that drink.
Quit worrying, will you, Fred? Umbriago will have these guys in the street with their portfolios dragging.
Open this door, you 2. Mr. Ippolito.
Yes, Mr. Brownlee.
A speakeasy case. I suggest you grill these characters.
Now, you. Where is the speakeasy located?
I don't run a speakeasy. It was a cold night. I gave this stranger a drink.
Oh, well, if you didn't charge him for the drink.
Well, no.
No, the guy left $3.
Jimmy.
Oh, so you did take money for the liquor, huh? Did you enter this money as income?
Well, no.
Listen, Bud, listen. I can explain the whole thing. You keep your nose out of this. All of it? Yes, all of it. And stop inhaling over my desk. You're sucking up my memories.
Now, listen, I didn't sell the liquor.
Look, Pinhead, this stranger knocked on Alan's door.
Stranger? You rented a room to a total stranger? You didn't get his name, his address? You didn't ask to see his draft card?
Well, no.
I've heard enough. Follow me.
This is all your fault, Jimmy Durante. I came in here to buy a war stamp. Now I'm getting pasted around.
When Umbriago gets here and sees what's going on, he'll have this jerk down on his knees begging for mercy.
Right in this door.
Now, Jimmy, the letter's on that door. Do you see what I see?
FBI. Who do we know with those initials?
Inside, please. Inspector Tugan?
Yes, Ippolito.
I think these two mugs, Allen and Durante, are mixed up in case 64.
Now, Inspector, there's been a mistake.
Alan, the FBI isn't interested in you small-time crooks. We're after bigger game. Now, describe this stranger who spent the night in your place.
Well, he was around about medium height.
Did he wear a green turtleneck sweater and carry a black patent leather briefcase?
Yes, sir. He wore yellow bicycle clips and carried a neon cane.
Alan, that man is wanted.
What man?
Sabotage Sam.
Sabotage Sam?
The FBI has been trailing this criminal for weeks. You let this nefarious gangster hide out on your premises.
Inspector, believe me.
Fred, let me handle this.
Jimmy, call my lawyer Solinger and Solinger.
This is a case for Umbriago, Fred. Why, when Umbriago hears about this, J. Edgar will personally beat this guy's brains out.
The FBI never forgets a face, Alan. Get under that light.
Now, the FBI doesn't know me.
Oh, no? You won't talk your way out of this rat, Fingers McGonagall.
Fingers McGonagall?
I knew there was something familiar about you. Those long thumbs, those sweeping hangnails.
Now, this is ridiculous. Jimmy, explain who I am. Tell him.
Tell him what, Fingers?
Fingers, Jimmy, you have known me for 20 years, and you take this guy's word?
Fred, he's got an honest face.
Inspector, believe me, I am not Fingers McGonagall. I'm Fred Allen. I just came in here to buy some war stamps.
Inspector, you gotta give Allen the benefit of the doubt.
There is no doubt.
Then there is no benefit.
Come clean, Fingers. Where's Sabotage Sam? Where's your gun moll, Jersey Jenny? Where's your brother, Flat Top?
Now, wait a minute. I don't know these people. A strange guy came to my apartment.
Now, look, turn state's evidence, Fingers, and I'll get you off with 40 years. If you don't, it's Alcatraz.
Wait a minute, Inspector. You can't do that, my friend.
Yes, I can.
Okay, you talked me out of it.
Now, Jimmy, explain to him. He won't believe me. Tell him a stranger just knocked on my door.
I gotta laugh. This is funny. When I think what Umbriago is going to do to this joint, I shudder. Umbriago is your only hope, friend.
Now, Fingers, perhaps if you see a picture of Sabotage Sam, if you're brought face to face with this low, despicable saboteur, maybe your tongue will loosen. Look, over on that wall, that picture under wanted. Do you recognize your buddy?
Now, believe me, Inspector, I never saw this man before in my life. I'm innocent.
Well, I'll be seeing you when you get out, Fred.
Jimmy, where are you going?
I gotta beat it, Fred.
Why?
That picture on the wall, that guy's who's wanted.
You recognize him?
It's Umbriago. So long, Fred.
Oh, Jimmy.
You just heard a rebroadcast of the Fred Allen Show. And now, as an after-show treat, we invite you to listen to the distinctive rhythms of Raymond Scott and his orchestra. of the Armed Forces Radio Service.